you know my email.
Yeah. And where they are, I tried to work out. I just put a post on.
Did we do it?
No, I don't think we've done, because of the date.
Room that they're working
We
on.
can't.
Oh, good.
use that.
Good.
We don't have to. That's no problem.
As far as I know, he's gonna be here. He didn't say anything. Whenever you're ready.
It's like.
Let's talk about it when it's here.
I didn't hear it. It did.
I didn't hear it.
I think everybody, we're gonna start the meeting, guys. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Sun Valley Board of Directors meeting, August 13th, 2026, 7 p.m. regular meeting. Call the meeting to order at, I think it was 7 p.m. Forgot my phone tonight.
Ooh,
It's
all
7
here.
p.m.
Roll call tonight. Oh, perfect, right?
We're all
Excellent.
here.
Yep, everyone's present.
Yes.
Need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Thank you, Tom.
Second.
Linda.
Who got that second?
Linda.
Linda. All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, moving on to announcements. Do we have any announcements tonight?
This Saturday is.
We do.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This Saturday at 1 p.m., there will be a town hall meeting for the presentation of the proposed 2027 budget. I encourage everyone to attend, who is able. We will definitely have the high-powered fans set up since it's forecast to be a hot day. We'll also be showing the meeting via YouTube. So if you just want to watch, you can do it on YouTube. And we'll also have a Zoom link for that budget presentation so that you can participate virtually. And we will take questions from both people who attend in person and people who attend on Zoom. This is an annual tradition, and typically that town hall meeting goes for a long time, most of which is question and answer with members. So 1 p.m. this Saturday, August 15th in the dance hall. Thank you.
We'll go with, we'll go Rob
Ladies
first.
first, ladies first, please.
I just wanted to say, it's gonna be held at the real estate office across the street. It's a free community event from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 15th. So before you get ready to come over and listen to the presentation, you can have free pizza, get your face painted, and have some ice cream.
Oh, there you go, that sounds fun.
Very nice.
Apologies.
Rob?
No, I just wanted to announce that there's an opportunity for community members to opt into electronic notification, electronic ballots. You can do so by, there's a link on the Sun Valley website. Then you would receive a ballot in terms of either on your, well, both on your cell phone, your email address, and you can vote either way, whether you like being on your desktop or on your cell phone. Once you voted, and if you tried to go over to another device, you would get a friendly email saying you've already voted, and you get notification that the ballot's been received. So it's very secure, and the thing that's really great for the association is it saves us money. It's a great way for all of us to opt in and save money because there's no return postage that we end up having to pay for the paper ballot. So if you're like me and you tend to lose paper, because if you hand me a piece of paper a half hour later, it's gone. If it's on my phone or in my email, it's there for sure.
So Rob, a question.
Yeah.
If I did it electronically last year, do I have to register again this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, that would be a good thing to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Just, if you opted in last year and you think that you're opted in, you need to re-register this year because unfortunately it was the first year we did it and they didn't save the information. So please, if you voted that way last year, please opt in again.
Yeah, tell your neighbors, it's just, that's probably one of the biggest ways we can save the association money by doing something. And if you prefer not to, you don't have to, everybody's gonna get paper. So, but it's a way to save money.
Great.
Yeah, tomorrow between 1 and 3 at the library, our library, there is a ice cream social for kids and adults, any readers. It's free. There's also at the same time, there is a student bazaar where children have put together and made different types of crafts or fancy Legos, whatever they're into, and they're trying to market them themselves with their parents' permission. I mean, we're not bribing. Anyway, so they're entrepreneurs on their way, and then you can get some ice cream, and I know we have enough ice cream, because I picked up 15 gallons, so
Okay.
we're in good shape.
So what day again?
Ice cream.
Yeah, and also, secondly, Doug Buchanan, who ran the car show at the Valley, he was very thankful for the support from the board. We didn't have it previously, we really had it this year. A lot of the participants showed up, they had, they got some nice trophies, they're really proud of them, they're happy. It's gonna be bigger and better next year. Thank you for guys stepping up with that.
Yeah.
What's the date of the ice cream social, Saturday?
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Library.
roll out of bed and then get there at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, because I have to go have my book work done in the morning, so.
Perfect.
Roll out of bed.
We got 3 choices of ice cream, you're set.
Ooh.
Mitch?
I spent some time and read all 75 pages of the comments on the survey. And I think that it's important that the board schedule time in a coming meeting to respond to the community on the survey. There were a lot of interesting comments. They were broken, you could see them broken down into groups. As much effort as Joanne and staff put into this, and a third of the community responded.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
All right, I think it would behoove us to not just say, oh, thank you for the survey responses, but to actually discuss, okay, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna respond and give the community back, responses to their requests for, actions. And so I think the board needs to schedule time in a coming meeting to do that.
Good idea.
Just to add, there'll just have to be some sort of way to coordinate the groups of messages and how to respond to them. So just-
I don't think we can do all 75.
No, that's what I'm saying, somebody has to be able to review them.
To do the grouping like we
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about.
If-
But
if
I
the
think it's a
board-
good idea.
If the board wants to assign a couple directors to it and say, look, go ahead and
Yeah.
put something together, great, I'm in. But I think that the community deserves an answer.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We
I
should
agree.
do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just,
Thank you. Anyone else?
you have to have a way to move forward though, which is just.
All right, hearing none, we'll move on to property owner comments. 15 minutes total, 3 minutes each. Okay, please.
Shane David, 10 Gooseberry Circle. I want to talk about the upcoming bylaws revisions. Let me just start by saying that I recognize the difficulty of this effort and how long it must have taken to get to this point. When I first saw that the revisions had been posted for member review, I held the opinion it was probably a good idea to get ahead of the 2028 deadline rather than leaving it for a new board after the next year's AGM. But when I started reading them, I came to a completely different conclusion. I found several areas of concern and will be sending a full list of issues to the GM in the next few days.
Excellent.
First, the redlining needs a great deal of work. Instead of using a coherent model of removing full phrases, sentences, or whole paragraphs and then inserting the new language in similar chunks, there are many examples where sentences and paragraphs are butchered in an attempt to preserve random words in between new fragments of text. In some cases, the new text is not even on the same topic as what was removed. Instead, remove and insert text in a manner that makes it easy for the reader to comprehend the result. I shouldn't have to read a revision multiple times in order to understand what it's supposed to say or mean, or how it differs from the original. Next, there are many missing spaces and incorrect word substitutions, as well as discrepancies in election versus appointment for ACC members. And for some reason, there's a complete mishmash between alphanumeric hierarchy, which is traditionally used in legal documents like this, and fully numeric hierarchy, typically used for policies, scientific documents, and similar. The entire document should follow the original alphanumeric system in order to maintain consistency and enhance understanding by the reader. The reality is that the editing job needs a do-over. The next concern is that although these revisions were presented as being required by changes in the law, there are in fact revisions and additions present that are not required by changes in the law. They are changes that someone decided should be made, so they made them. Maybe some are necessary, maybe some are not, but they should not be slipped in among the Wakiowa-related changes. It's vitally important that the members clearly understand the purpose of each revision. That requires providing them with the basis for each one, including the relevant subsection of the law, and an explanation of how the revision will affect SVCA and board functions in the future, as well as whether the revision is actually required now or not until January 2028. It's not enough to say, well, we have to do it, so you should vote yes, and that is likely to backfire. Rather than doing all these revisions at once, it would be better to start only with the revisions that are required or that were required as of January 2026. Explain those well, then put them on the AGM. The community is likely to vote yes if they feel that everything is understandable and trustworthy. They're likely to vote no if they think someone is trying to slip in changes that are not required. Then spend the next year explaining the other required or desired changes in small chunks at several town halls and in the views in order to successfully pass them at the 2027 AGM. Thank you.
Okay, a real quick question for you.
Yes.
You will be sending those in, also.
I will send them to Joanne.
You will, awesome. Thank you so much, I really appreciate that. Lori?
Is it
quickly. possible
possible to either move the podium a little bit towards that
So
wall, a
everyone
little
can
bit,
see
because
the-
we can't see anybody up there.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, perfect,
There you go.
thank you.
All right, sure thing.
Keith?
Oh, well, Linda, go ahead, real quick.
There's a section, I know she said she was gonna send them to Joanne.
Yes,
There's an online place for all of, if you have comments on the bylaws, for people to submit them. I've already had people submit their comments there. It's nice to gather them there so they're all in one place rather than somewhere else. If
Mine is going to be a long document. Can I submit a document?
you certainly can, there is one person who already has, and actually she wrote a beginning thing to it and then clicked, here's the link to my individual items. It's all there, but at least it can be captured and it's all in one place.
Linda, where do they send those to? Is it a different address or?
How do I say it? You go online and there's a, let Joanne explain.
Please, go ahead.
So if you go to suddenvalley.com and click on announcements, it will continue to move down the list as we post new announcements, but it's the announcement about the bylaw revision. It has a link in it. That's actually the fewest clicks to get to the posted revisions. And then at the bottom of the page that has the document in the Adobe Reader frame, at the bottom of that page, it says, to see comments, click here, and that takes you to the page where you can see, just like the county does it, the date and the name of the person who submitted the comment, and when you click on that line, you see the comment. And your posted comment can include a link. So as Linda indicated, we've already had one commenter who used Google Docs to make a shareable document, and that could be as long as you need. But the substantive nature of some of these comments is very much appreciated. Every single one is being reviewed and considered, and we will bring all of those comments and responses to the planned town hall on the 22nd.
Thank you. Next, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. Good evening, I'm Eric Fink at 17 Marigold Drive. I've heard differences of opinion about whether a community accessible area exists along the western shore of the marina. I'd like to present information I investigated to determine whether it does. You can follow along by turning to page 1 of this packet that I passed out earlier.
Oh, it is.
Page 1 is a current satellite photo of the area I'll be talking about, outlined in white. Page 2 is from Whatcom, I move faster.
Yeah.
Page 2 is from Whatcom County's property database, showing the boundaries of the Spinnaker Lane private properties marked in black. Let's go ahead and skip page 3 for now. Page 4 is from Sun Valley's website. The blue arrow points out the link to Sun Valley's Gate 1 and 2 trails. Page 5 shows what you get when you click on that link. You need to zoom in on the marina, and that's what page 6 does. Note the blue line with the hiker images, it marks a walking trail along the marina's west side. Page 7 is a larger image of the Spinnaker Lane property boundary. The scale of distance in the bottom left-hand corner of that page shows us how long 100 feet is on this image. That scale tells us that the distance from the marina shore to the closest property boundary is about 30 feet. For comparison, 30 feet is the length of this room from windows to back wall. And the distance increases as one moves northward beside the shore. Note also that the gap between the second and third properties at the bottom. That gap once allowed access to the marina's west side, but is now obstructed. Page 8 is a 2011 image showing trail maintenance work being done along the marina's west shore. Page 9 is a recent photo of the West Shore's main entrance. The metal plates and padlocks allow those posts to be removed, allowing access for maintenance by maintenance vehicles. Page 10 is a satellite image from 1985. The trail by the western shore is clearly evident. Page 11 shows the same area in 2017. Remnants of the trail are there, but private lawns have begun to encroach on the area, and 6 stairways have appeared at the water's edge. I think that's ample evidence that the marina's immediate western shore is community property, but some adjacent homeowners act as if it's theirs when conflicts have arisen. It's imperative that the association respond before someone gets hurt, lawsuits are filed, or both. Mark the area's boundary and please formally notify the adjacent property owners that they must allow community members access to this area. Thank you.
Joanne?
So, these pictures are very helpful in understanding the basic situation. And efforts by administration are underway to get a quote for completing a survey because the superimposed property lines are not accurate. We know that from work we've done throughout the association. So they're directionally correct, obviously, but we need to have specifically correct.
Specific, yes.
Especially when we're dealing with anything as sensitive as ownership of property.
Right.
So the steps are underway to reestablish the property boundary markers, and at that time we'll be able to bring information back to the community and be more specific. So, like I said, these pictures are great in illustrating the general issue there, but not necessarily as exact as we need to reestablish that trail.
Right. Yeah, it's, the 30 feet is an approximation based on the image. Yes.
So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Just a point of information, the lake level has been really high for the last 5 years, and I don't understand why, but there has been a lot of erosion as a result of it, so be prepared that 30 feet may now be 25 feet. Just a point of information.
Yeah, I think as long as it's marked,
Yeah.
and people know where they can be, I think that's great.
My point of information is that edge of the lake is being eroded quite a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting though, if you look at two of the images in here, one on page 8, that's about a 2011 photo. That shows the bushes and shrubs that are still back adjacent to the shore. And then
What date was this one, do you think?
about 2011.
Well, you're talking about the grassy area there by the edge of the lake.
Yeah, by the edge of the lake, the grassy area. Those shrubs are still there, if I remember right.
Not in the picture, not in town.
On page 8?
On page 8, yeah. Was Tim taken at the same time?
That one's 2011 roughly.
10 is 85.
Well, pictures are super helpful, and we're
Yeah.
working on it, and we'll get a precise boundary.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, great.
Thank you very
And
much.
then we can reconvene.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Barbara?
Can I ask a question?
Depends. To see if we can have an answer for you, because we're not always prepared to have, obviously.
That's all right.
Is he done with his term?
Yes,
So,
yeah.
all right, check
Thank
him
you
in,
very much,
who's
sir.
coming up.
Come on up.
I just have a quick question about this. I want to know why the survey, cost for the survey is going to be responsibility of Sun Valley and not the responsibility of the private property owners to determine where their property is.
Well, it's Sun Valley's property that we need to demarcate, right?
We're
Well, yeah, and
setting the
what's right
boundaries
after
of Sudden Valley's property
Yeah.
because they're no longer in place, and we want to know them.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Any other property owner comments, please come on up.
Hi, my name is Brad Edwards, I'm at 28 Honeycomb Lane. Tonight, I'd like to talk about two things that should be the foundation of any HOA: trust and fairness. Fairness in how our HOA communicates with members, and trust that the rules apply equally to everyone, and that those who govern this community aren't using association resources to influence an election. Unfortunately, this month's Valley Views has made me question both. Most homeowners believe the Valley Views is independently edited by the Linden Tribune. Page 3 states that the Linden Tribune has complete control over written content, and our bylaws state the same. However, when I contacted Bill Helm at the Linden Tribune, he told me that SPCA management makes the decisions and approves of all content, including letters. So homeowners deserve to know who submits board material to the Valley Views, who approves it, and who ultimately decides what gets published. Because the executive committee chaired by Keith McLean used nearly half a page of an association-funded publication to discourage homeowners from supporting 5 announced candidates. I paid for that publication.
What did I put in the paper?
Every homeowner in this room paid for it. And the executive committee used it to influence how more than 31 homeowners view candidates in the upcoming election. I was also told by the Linden Tribune that candidates cannot submit campaign material to the Valley Views until the October issue. So if candidates aren't allowed to use the Valley Views until October, why is association leadership allowed to use it to influence how homeowners vote months before an election? I'm not asking for campaign space. I'm asking whether the same rules apply to board members sitting in front of me as they do to everybody else. There's another concern. Board Director Taimee Van de Polder submitted a letter titled "A Request for Respect and Civility" after the publication deadline. Despite its title, the letter contained a serious and unsubstantiated personal attack on another candidate. Here's what members need to know. At least 2 other residents submitted letters before the deadline, yet their letters were bumped to make room for Taimee's late letter. Someone in this room tonight likely authorized that. Our members deserve to know who. This isn't really about me, it's about fairness, transparency, and whether the people sitting in front of me are subject to the same rules as everybody else. I sent these questions to the board and the general manager several days ago. I received no response. So I'm here asking for answers now. An HOA-funded publication should never be used to influence an election or for a sitting board member to personally attack other HOA members. That is highly inappropriate and needs to be addressed. Because the Valley Views does not belong to the people sitting in front of me, it belongs to all of us. Thank you.
Question for you. Could you send me to my board email what I posted in the views?
And you can also read it, it's titled, it's authored by the executive committee. It's the last 2 paragraphs on page 3.
Thank you.
If you didn't approve it, I'd like to know who did.
I'm not involved in the views, so thank you.
Nadine Falvey, 17 Marigold Drive, and I have 3 issues to.
Did you get her
Your
name?
name again?
Yeah, can you do it?
Nadine Falvey, 17 Marigold Drive, and I have 3 community issues I want to bring up. First, we have a fiduciary responsibility to maintain the amenities, including the west shoreline of Marina Park. Yet this walkway has not been maintained in years. There's no sign to indicate it's a pathway or to welcome community members. There's no demarcation between public and private space. Homeowners along the walkway have encroached on the public space. One just wrote a letter to the editor chastising the community for using the walkway and for being unkind. I am not condoning rudeness. However, the problem is not with the community. I ask the board to maintain our public spaces, particularly when space is at a minimum. Second issue, significant space in the Sudden Valley Views has been dedicated to trying to convince the membership that how we feel about board decisions is ill-informed, exaggerated, and inaccurate. Example, maps and articles have argued that the proposed updates at Marina Park are not as bad as they seem, that they're fair, and that they're necessary regardless. Yet the community has begged you to reconsider. This is not a small fringe group. A recent survey verified that almost 50% of the homeowners rank the off-leash area as their top amenity. 46% of 3,118 equals over 1,400 individuals. Over 1,400 individuals are misinformed. A space can be rejigged to provide safe places for play without cutting into current amenities or destroying the landscape. I ask the board to listen to and respect the interests of our community. Third issue, the article by the executive committee in the August edition of the Views truly marks a new low. For the board to use the Views as a platform to undermine the reputations of other candidates is quite frankly embarrassing. A research scientist from the University of Washington has no experience. Do you have any idea how many boards a PhD sits on over the course of a career? A candidate who works for our local school district has no experience while sitting on school board after school board. Eric and I have recently had the opportunity to get to know these 5 individuals, and I will agree with you on one point. They're running on a singular agenda. That singular agenda is to listen to and respect what our community thinks, what our community values, and what our community wants. And I hope each of you will consider doing the same. Thank you.
Anyone else? I have a question, thank you very much.
Was there, in the survey, was there ranking?
No.
All right, no.
There wasn't, I don't remember ranking.
No.
There was no ranking.
I wish it was.
I think you're not hearing the point.
I'm sorry.
I think you're not hearing the point. Take a look at the survey again. You're missing the point of my statement. Purposefully.
Thank you very much. Moving on to consent agenda, item number 4, approval of the meeting minutes for July 23rd, 2026. You'll find them on page 2. Can you get a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
Tom?
Second.
Second, Linda. Any corrections, comments? Wow, really? None on this one?
I kind of only have one, but it's like, I think you made it, so it's not a big deal.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Mitch, so you're in on that?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, sir. All right, moving on. Moving on to item number 5 will be the report. We have a general report, Joanne.
Thank you. This is the general manager's report for July. It's certainly summer in Sun Valley. Pools, parks, beaches, and trails were in steady use as everyone got outside to enjoy the sunny weather. Staff had a focus on preparing for the annual Valley Fair, which was well attended despite oddly windy and cooler weather. So, talk about Valley Fair. Recreation, maintenance, and administrative staff all contribute to the fair. And we spend the first 3 weeks of July doing the various tasks that contribute to the event. Although the weather wasn't ideal, there was still strong attendance for the fair. The food and craft vendors reported to us that they had healthy sales, although our beer garden sales were not as big a hit as in previous years. Specifically, we sold 64 beer tokens for total sales of $320. The dunk tank was popular, with 55 tokens sold and sales of $275.
15 times in an hour.
Oh, that was just the kids running up to hit your butt.
Oh, man, 15 times, come on.
And as we've already discussed, the car show had many more participants than last year and seemed to be really popular with attendees.
And I would really quickly say the beer tokens probably would have more had the weather been hot and sunny or something like that. It was kind of cool and windy, so. Agreed. Anyways.
Golf revenues. Golf has continued to have a really strong season. As you can see in the chart that I included, revenue year-to-date is considerably higher than golf's highest July ever in 2023, and this is year-to-date revenue through July. So, good job, golf. However, I took the 2023 revenue number that we have here and increased it by 3% each year because the fees go up about 3% each year, and had golf revenue increased by 3% each year, they would have more than the current year's revenue. So it's a good number, but it's making up for some lost ground. So, whatever, it's important to have perspective about these things. The 2027 budget was presented as a first draft. That takes many, many hours and involves all levels of management. Joe and I essentially then sit down to integrate all of that information into a single document. Work on the budget will continue throughout the month of August. A town hall meeting is planned for Saturday, and then the budget will be finalized at a special meeting of the board on September 3rd before it is included on the ballot. So the board still has opportunities for comment, as we will get to later in the agenda. We'll take comments from the whole association on Saturday, and then we'll finalize things on the 3rd of September. Results of the 2026 community survey were presented to the community on July the 30th. A recording of that presentation was posted to YouTube, and all the supporting materials, which included the slides used in the presentation, the description of the project design, the questionnaire used to collect responses, the data tables, the open-ended responses, and a description of the weighting scheme that was used. It's highly unusual to get all of that posted. The only thing that we haven't posted is the raw data, and the reason for that is there are some small cells in the community, which means that, and this is part of the privacy rulings around data that have been pioneered when HIPAA first came out, and then have persisted and been codified as standard practice in other areas. So if the smallest analysis cell is less than 10 or 12 members, you can impute who the respondent is simply because that cell is so small, using all the variables that are out there. And we do have some small cells in our sample, so we will not be posting the raw data for privacy reasons. Staff changes. SPCA has experienced many staffing changes recently. Recreation Manager Kyle Kaltenfeld resigned his position to become the General Manager of a tennis and fitness facility in Fairhaven. So we could not compete with that, but we wish him well. Nicole Jones, who is our Assistant Rec Manager, is filling in for Kyle as we look for a new manager. Also, Mike Brock, SPCA's Maintenance and Facilities Manager, who's for the last 4 years retired at the end of July. His position has been filled by Matt Albaugh, who was formerly the maintenance foreman. So Matt has worked alongside Mike for the last 4 years. And I feel confident that he will ensure both a smooth transition and the continuance of the efficiency improvements that Mike has implemented over his term here. Additionally, we were able to hire a new and very experienced maintenance foreman, Brandon Lambert, who has been added to the team as of the 27th of July. We are also at the time of year when many of our seasonal recreation employees are leaving to either start school for the first time or go back to school, and so we're going to lose them. But we've had many, many strong applications for our rec staff positions, and we look forward to welcoming new faces to the team. The next page is a recap of the 2026 capital projects. I'm going to jump to the next page. The Austin Creek bank repair design is still underway, and we're just waiting for Whatcom County as we go back and forth to finalize the design and submit our permit applications. The marina tennis court refurbishment design is complete and a permit application was submitted. The project was put out to bid and a contract was awarded. The timing of the project is dependent on when the permit is issued, and since we don't have it right now, construction will have to go to next year, so we anticipate doing that next year. having everything in place so we can get an early start on it once the watershed window for digging opens up on June the 1st. We're still holding funds in the marina and directional signage project because the marina will receive new signage when these improvements are made next year. The off-leash dog park improvements, in addition to the fence, we're also including other upgrades, for example, drainage improvements, addressing the potholing, the grading the dog park. Anyway, the design is complete for that, permit was submitted, contract was awarded, and the work will be completed once a permit is issued. And again, I anticipate that may have to slide to next year, but we haven't heard from the county one way or another. Marina playground design and permitting, similarly, design began in May, permit applications will be submitted this summer, and we'll be working on the construction of that project in the summer of 2027. Barn 6 design and permitting, design is underway, geotech scope and potholing are complete, design is expected to be completed in September. Although we did receive a demolition permit, and the county will be posting signage on the building, and post that we'll be taking further action to begin the demolition phase of that project.
That's scheduled
Pardon?
with contractors.
That all has to get worked out, but they're posting it, and then we'll have a.
You can sell tickets for that.
Yeah. Be
Tokens.
historic.
Tokens.
Clubhouse renovations, work has begun, and we expect it to complete in September, so we can begin using that new meeting space for the community. Turf care, all but one piece of their equipment has arrived, and we expect that second one imminently, or that last one imminently. The fitness center equipment is going to be installed in late August. Very excited for that. 2026 road repairs are complete. Yay! No more disruptions from SPCA road repairs. There'll be plenty of disruptions from individual construction projects, however. The Area Z access bridge. Work is going on. It started on the 12th with intermittent day closures to do site prep. It will continue until the week of September the 4th. I reached out to the Garden Club directly today on the website. You posted an announcement listing out the different timeframes of the project and what access will be available. We're trying to do a lot of work in advance during the day so that people can still have access at the end of the workday and in the early mornings and on the weekends. And then the bridge closure itself will be about 10 days when we're actually putting in the new span, taking out the old span, all that stuff. But the entire project has been designed around accelerating the work period to keep it as short as possible and maximizing the time that access will still be available. So that's an exciting project and good to get underway. We've waited a long time for that. On culverts 22 and 24, we did finish design in July. Permit applications are next up. And of course, the construction on those projects are expected in 2027 and 2028. Since permitting takes such a long time, we've now adopted this batch scheduling, so to speak. The rest of the report is there for your reading pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joanne. Any questions? Linda?
So many of these projects have to do with the county and permitting. And we keep saying, yeah, the permitting's in progress, the permitting's in progress. Is there a way to get more precise information about, when are we meeting them? When are the dates that we've been given to meet with them? We have to go back because there's something to look at. I would assume that that information is readily available. I'm sure we've been with some of this stuff a couple of times, but it's like, it seems like it drags so long. The Area Z Bridge is a perfect example of how often have we gone to the county and gone, hey guys, can we please get our permits? It's over a year. And I would think that there would be a way that Tyler or somebody who's doing that work for us could give us a list of, these are the days that I've been given that the county will meet with me, this is where we are in the process, so that we don't go whole years with constantly the permitting's in progress. That's my comment.
Yeah, it's a fair, go ahead, Joanne. Response.
As a response to that, we can use the example of the dog park improvements. The meeting, the pre-application meeting was held, and at that meeting, we were told we would get comments back from it within a week. We still don't have those comments, and that meeting took place about 3 weeks ago. The county is under no obligation to meet any deadlines.
Jeez.
I became very frustrated, as you just expressed, with the permitting process for the Area Z Bridge, and asked Chinook Engineering, who was managing that for us, to prepare a summary report. The report was 12 pages long in tabular form, and it listed all the different interactions, and in every single instance, we responded immediately or very quickly, and then sat dead in the water while the county, gave us absolutely no information about the next phase. Similarly, that process was also impacted by the county giving us incomplete information, so that we did not have all of the required reports at the beginning of the project. Instead, we get the reports they told us to get, resubmit, then we heard back that, oh, you also need this other report, and now we have to go out and commission that report, wait for it to be scheduled, et cetera, et cetera. So while it's tempting to think that we can do things to accelerate the process, the two examples in which I dived in to get specifics do not support that.
But it was a good question, for sure. But it's frustrating, in fact.
Yeah,
Well, it is
exactly.
Totally frustrating. Joanne, you mentioned demolition, possible permit for barn 6 earlier than an opportunity to build it until next year. You think they want to give us a permit to tear it down or burn it down or the fire department or do something?
No, that's actually used as a training scenario.
That would be
So
good.
I wrote that down as a note to talk to her later about, but you mentioned that this permit was issued?
Well, that's what I heard, is that they're actually posting it, that there's like some
Interesting.
20-day window where they have to post something on the side of the building, and then we get the permit at the end of that, or?
So that's news to me. I just heard this right now because I just talked to Tyler a few days ago, and we had submitted everything properly. They wanted the SEPA and all that for a demo, which was a little different. And I was told that could be months out still, because you don't know when you submit to the county, they get everything, then they'll let you know when they're gonna meet and all things like that. So this would be interesting, but something we'll follow up on for sure.
Yeah, it would be good to get it down because it's a safety thing for us. We got shingles flying off the winds and
I saw more and more.
gonna hit somebody in the head. That's gonna be not a good win on the lawsuit here.
So, the county wanted us to dig
Go ahead,
down
Rich.
under, I apologize.
Yeah.
So I heard from you that the county wanted us to dig down and remove some subsurface, right?
Rex.
So we could still take it down to surface without breaking the dirt moratorium and have them do the dirt work next year.
Well, we need to find out more information, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
not-
We don't
it's not
know
a
exactly.
two-year
The only
window.
good news is that unexpectedly, the county has given us information to go forward.
That's good.
That's it.
Let's
And there's
end on that till we find out more details.
Tons
This is
of more
fresh.
information to come.
Yeah. That's good. All right, let's move on to financial statements. Joel?
We don't have any.
Oh, I'm sorry, was there a question?
Sorry, I'm on the long-range planning committee.
Okay.
And volunteered to discuss with the fire chiefs the opportunity to use it
Oh.
as a training exercise.
Do you want to come up?
Well, that's just a fact. so-
Okay.
But, should I stop?
No, I think that would be a wonderful
Come on up,
opportunity
Jeff.
for them to
This
use.
This is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff Mauser, on the long-range planning committee, and my daughter is also a firefighter.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
At one of the meetings, and we didn't have one previous, this last one, it got postponed. I took the initiative to say, all right, I'll talk to the fire chiefs and see if we can coordinate something in the wet weather. So as not to have a problem. obviously poses danger. I'm happy to do that, but it was just a little premature to go at it now.
No, I think that would be a great idea, and that actually could, because the fire department has the ability to work with the county, if things, we'll have to find out more about the details, like I
Right.
said earlier. But yes, I was a firefighter in El Dorado Hills in California, and we love the opportunity to use these kind of situations for training.
Right.
So I would say proceed.
Yeah, and that's just what I want to do. I haven't had, it's just fact finding. Are they interested?
Yeah,
Would they
absolutely.
be accommodating? And I'm representing the long range planning committee as part of Sundown.
It'll be short range planning, but.
What's that?
I would say the board is now saying, oh yeah, please get us information.
Right, because there's probably going to be some cost and, how does it compare to demolition? I'd love to be, like cartoons pushing the dynamite, but.
But thank you very much for that, I appreciate it.
I'll continue.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, Joel?
We don't have financial
We don't have-
statements.
There's an addendum.
Where is it?
yes, the
There's an
addendum
addendum 1, 2,
Okay,
3.
so I apologize. I was out of the office at a very inconvenient time for a medical emergency in my family. And the statements were posted to the website, but they weren't pushed to you as I had promised, so I apologize. The statements are available online, and I can send all of you the link if you want it, but they're, for right now, they're up here, and Joel can make the figures.
So that means Joel will go quicker?
That's right.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm not gonna have more questions, I'm gonna go line by line.
I just want to say family always comes first.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But these statements are, just if you go to the board agenda for August 13th, you'll see this addendum 2. And addendum 3 is a capital report. So this, we covered April last month, so we're covering May 2026 this month. Obviously, the first page is the balance sheet. Our cash amount is a lot healthier than it was last year. Obviously, last year we transferred cash around, especially for the bomb cyclone to reimburse certain roads. So it's not an issue this year. So we'll just go ahead and go to the next page, the income statement. So I'm just going to go right to the bottom line, the net income here. So I'm looking at this first shaded lines, specifically that number right there. So you can see our operating net income for May is $496,011. In comparison year over year, at the end of May 2025 is $153,609. So obviously it's a lot higher. Obviously Joanne has really implemented some, I guess you could say more cost-cutting measures, austerity, call it that if you want, to try to keep the expenses down as much as possible, and obviously that's having an effect, as you can see on the bottom line here. You can see that we are, approximately $249,000 better than budget. At the end of May of 2025, we were about 34,500 rounded worse than budget at the end of May of 2025. Our collection rate, we budgeted for a 95% collection rate, and that's the same amount that's budgeted in the 2027 budget, 95%. Same amount we used in the 2025 budget, 2024 budget, so we're sticking to that. Seems to be a good amount to use. So collection rate at the end of May 2026 came in at 96%. Fast forward a month, the end of June of 2026 was 96.43%, so it edged up. Comparison-wise, at the end of May of 2025, it was higher, it was 97.1%. In June of 2025, it was 97.25%. So I guess maybe the one piece of bright news with that is to go from May to June 2026, go from 96 to 96.43 is actually a bigger jump than to go from 97.1 to 97.25. You can think about it like that. But we're trending in the right direction. I've said this before, and I'll just say it real quickly, say this every month. It is an interesting number that obviously if we budget for a 95% collection rate, if we ended the year at 96%, this would be easy to see if I just use 96%. But I anticipate we'll be higher than that. But at the end of the year, if we were 96%, now we're 1% over, then ops would get an additional $32,088. Surf would get close to an additional $15,000, roads close to an additional $15,000, mailboxes, just $265 more. But and obviously you could multiply that by 5 if we came in at 100% collection rate, which I doubt that will happen. But that gives you an idea of how that really affects this bottom line in terms of the operating net income. Sure.
So, I thank Joel for crediting me with austerity measures. But in fact, if you dive into the expenses, you can see that we were also very lucky. Our legal expenses are sometimes outside of our control, and they have been significantly lower this year. So again, there's an element of luck. Of course, there's an element of management in that as well, but circumstances can sometimes override management judgment. The other area in which we're lucky is that we have not had to spend as much on hazardous trees. Last year was plagued by the need to, very early in the year, spend a lot of funds to clean up from the winter storms. And so that's one of the things driving. However, it is true that our salaries are lower, and some of that is due to maintenance working on the CVC project. They charge their hours on CVC to a different account appropriately, since that is a capital investment.
Turf care is actually the biggest.
And turf care is lower as well, but salaries are down overall. Really what's driving it is the increased income. And it's not just income from assessments. In fact, that's less than half of the total increase in income. The other increases in income have come from golf, having a very strong year, and from the marina. This year, everyone with a wet slip was encouraged to also get a dry slip so their trailer could be available. It's actually required in the license that's extended to people. And that was not as enforced as fully in the past, and that's driven additional marina revenues. And it's that, it's a significant chunk of income. It's about $135,000 this year in additional other income from golf and from the marina. So that's non-assessment income. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, so basically, as you talked about with those revenues, so I'm just highlighting right here the non-dues revenue, like golf income and all of that stuff down to interest income. But you can see this $2,367,661, that's total revenue, that's a combination of all our non-dues and our dues revenue after bad debt expense right here. Close to 1.3 million. So basically, our non-dues revenue is about 46% of all revenue in 2026, at the end of May of 2026. At the end of May of 2025, it was 45%. So the non-dues revenue as a percentage of total revenue is going up. While I'm on this page, so our expense to revenue ratio, and like I said before, when I give you this ratio, like at the end of May 2026, it was 79.1%. So that just means for every dollar of revenue we took in, we spent 79.1 cents at the end of May. In comparison, at the end of May 2025, it was 92.7%. Of course, we would expect that since the net income was lower at the end of May 2025. Last month, April 2026, it was 79.7%. So we're still moving in the right direction with that. Obviously,
What's our expense to revenue for May?
which one, 2026?
For May this year.
2026, that's 79.1.
Ooh, excellent.
Right. Ooh.
So there's just one, so the other item that has been mentioned before is the new home construction fees, which is down quite a bit. You can see it on there. So for those who haven't been at the last meetings and stuff, that's down quite a bit. And I don't know, I know Joanna said too, is that there's a good chance we're not gonna start going up again because it's getting more expensive to build and getting fewer lots and fewer buildable lots. And at some point, you're gonna run out of that source of revenue. At some point, you just run out of lots. And so that's just something to keep in mind as we move forward into the future.
And of course, the good thing is this year's golf is basically making up for that in terms of the more revenue. And actually, that's I guess I'll talk about this page real fast. The reserve cash balance and activities page table. So the first column is obviously served roads, mailboxes. Those are the three capital dues categories, subcategories of reduced payments. The UDR category. From month to month, I've pretty much, I think, beaten the point to death of what makes this up in terms of starting with dues revenue and on and on. And And obviously, the big number here is the obligated expenses holdings. So like if I click on the capital report here, you'll see the adjusted amount of 1.186 million, which is just, it's all the board-approved projects minus all the amount that's been invoiced so far, and then just the amount left to spend on that budget. And it's the same thing for roads as well. But that's the biggest number in terms of subtracting away available balance. And you see that, talking about sort of the recommended carryover balance is 600,000, which is just the amount the board would not like to drop below. That means at this point, at the end of May 2026, then if the board didn't approve anything else in terms of projects, which obviously they have since May, and if dues stayed exactly at 95%, which there'll be more than that, we would have about 2.6 million at the end of December 2026. So,
which is better than budget. So our reserves at this moment are in good shape when you compare them to what our budget assumes as the carryover amount left in each fund at the end of this year. That's a very healthy number. The only number on here that is down from last year is UDR, and that's because we have not collected on any late accounts. We haven't focused on foreclosures or any of those. But it's, so last year, for example, I think that number is about 72,000, is that what you have?
yeah, 370,000.
Yeah, and so we're just down a little bit because our collections of late dues has been lower this year.
However, the one thing for UDR is, if you fast forwarded 1 month a year ago, meaning if you looked at June of 2025, then you would see UDR take an obligation hit for 100,000 for the hazardous trees that were approved in June of 2025.
Yeah, because our operational budget includes adequate funds for the removal of hazardous trees, we don't anticipate that we'll have to go to UDR for that significant expense, which means that the association will have a larger reserve balance to use for unexpected or discretionary purchases later this year, which is an excellent position to be in.
Yes. So the last page we'll talk about, we'll skip ahead a couple of pages to this. You're looking at the income statement again, but now it's split out on a department basis. You can see what departments make up this $496,011 of operating net income. The one line that I'm going to point out in specific is the golf, which is that line item right there. So you can see the actual revenue for golf, $626,134 year to date at the end of May 31, 2026.
Yeah, my report has it through July, just so you know.
Yeah. So at the end of May 2025, year over year is close to 513,000. So you can see it's quite a bit more. At the end of year over year, at the end of May 2026 versus 2025. So it's $113,422 more. The expenses for golf, which is this actual salary benefits number, which is salaries and medical benefits, payroll taxes, and then all other expenses categories. So that plus those two numbers added together is $542,255 for expenses for golf. And then the equivalent number at the end of May 2025 was, interestingly enough, it was $542,513. So the expenses are actually $258 less at the end of May 2026 and May 2025, which that obviously really helps out this net income amount to be $83,879, which means they're better than budget by $154,000 because golf was projected at the end of May to run at about a $70,000 operating loss still at this time of the year. So that's why they're better than budget by more than their net income. And marina, and we can talk about this real fast.
Yeah, this is actually a funny line for the marina, because you can see that there are almost no expenses and no salary. Well, obviously, someone's managing that marina. It's just that it hasn't been our practice to assign the expenses specifically to the marina. Maintenance performs maintenance. It's managed very closely by recreation. Security is down there. I obviously have a role in making sure everything goes on correctly. But none of those expenses are charged to the department, so most of the revenue pulls through, which is why it looks like it's contributing more than golf. Part of that is an artifact of just how we choose to report things. There are obviously charges, costs associated with
Very
running.
hard to try to,
It's not worth it,
almost
really.
impossible.
Yeah, but in golf, we have the opportunity to really look at it as an enterprise, and so we do that, and it helps us to better understand how it's contributing.
Yeah, you can see the total revenues from Marina, 247,477. Year over year it was 229,091, so the revenues are up 18,386, as we would expect pricing. So net income for Marina, 239,253. It was 216,304 at the end of May 2025, so the net income is up by close to 23,000. But I would say that's pretty much the highlights of the financial statements.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
Questions?
Sure.
No one? Okay.
Me.
Linda?
So I have a question about UDR. We deobligated some stuff, was that in
Yeah.
May or is that in June?
No,
Does
no,
that
actually, that's a good
show
question.
up?
I'll bring up the capital report.
I can't see it, so don't,
Yes.
You'd have to
areas
make it
even
really big.
Otherwise, I'll make it. How's that?
well, that looks better.
So you can see the areas, so all of this stuff was deobligated on the May 28th board meeting, Area Z mitigation, Firewise, and the 2024 GM search. So
Okay,
these are all now marked as closed, and so no further funds are obligated.
gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was wondering why this machine never had large font. You do have it.
Yeah.
I've been trying to hide it.
I just was wondering if that was done, because you didn't mention it, and I
Yes.
wanted to make sure, because I couldn't remember for sure what we were now.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Joel. Hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports. Starting with Daniel, architectural control.
Yeah, I just want to introduce you to Matt. He's our latest ACC guy. He's
All right.
appears to be undaunted by the slings and arrows inherent in our committee. He's already logged in many hours with our committee, and we're very happy to have him.
All right, excellent. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Document review.
Oh, what can I tell you? We finished as you know, the review of the bylaws. We have a meeting coming up on the 19th where we are going to take a look at the comments that have been submitted to us online. That's why I requested what I did earlier. And then there's gonna be a town hall on the 22nd to present the information to membership.
Very good.
So that's where we're at. Busy.
Thank you, Linda. You've been very busy. Finance, Jean?
Just getting ready for the presentation, I guess, on Saturday to help Jim and Ann present that. And I'm looking forward to that, so.
Oh. Sounds like it.
But nothing new until after I have my meeting. Our meeting is next week, so.
All right, very good. Thank you. Long-range planning.
As Jeff mentioned, we didn't have our meeting last month because we canceled it in lieu of doing the survey presentation.
All right, thank you.
There was one action item from the long range planning committee, again. That was the area, the campground area. Possible use would be using it for mountain biking, a staging area for the mountain bike companies, putting in parking similar to Lake Patton or Lake Sandwich there, the other side of Galbraith, my apologies. I did get a response from the county, because before we talk to the mountain bike companies, let's see what the county has to say. And they pointed out that we would need to make an application that they could then consider, because the campground has reverted to rural forestry instead of
Like a conditional use.
a conditional use. So, over 30 parking spaces, I don't think 30 would be enough. And then it's, do we go ahead and make the application to find out what they're going to say? That was what I was going to present at the long range planning committee. So I did get feedback, but haven't done anything with it. And I haven't spoken to the bike companies.
Thank you very much for that.
Thanks.
Nominations and electric, Mr. Gibbs.
Oh, man, we've been,
Been elected, did I say elected?
so yeah, we've been working really hard on, the NE manual, the revision that we're gonna take a look at tonight. We also, excited, we got an application from Matt Bilderback that's, would like to join our committee. And, I can't make a motion, I'd love it if we could add Matt Bilderback to our committee.
You'd like
Is
to
that a,
have,
is that a motion?
has it been vetted?
He has been done.
Yes. Yes, sir, you can ask for that. We'd like to,
We'd like to ask Matt love Matt to join our committee.
and he's showing interest, huh?
Yeah,
Does he know it's a lifelong?
Yeah,
It's like a sentence.
has anybody told him yet?
do you guys have to vote on that, or?
Yeah, we just,
Just kind of a show of hands, it's just, but yes.
Did you get his name and stuff?
Yeah.
Bilderback, Bilderback.
All right, so it makes it into our
Matt
minutes.
Bilderback.
All in favor?
I,
That's unanimous? Very good.
And then also, our next meeting is going to be via Zoom on Monday at 6:30. We're gonna be looking at the sample ballot.
what the,
Here comes the next one.
No, there's a bunch of them.
he's just on a regular bike.
That caught my attention. So we're gonna be, looking at sample ballots. One of the things that we're going to do is select the candidate forum dates. And, we're looking at trying something new. It was actually Joanne's suggestion, a great suggestion, in that we would select a number of issues for which the community could, as a survey, they could vote, and we could maybe pick the top 5 or 6 and create questions from those issues. At this point, community has 10 to look at. I think if we went too many more, it would get a bit busy. We also want to go back and look at the survey and make sure we've captured issues that are in the survey as well.
Good idea.
Yeah, so, I'm getting ready to, head out of the valley for like 4 weeks. The Here Now project, the nonprofit I'm involved in, we're going to a symposium, so, committees, knows about it, we've got great, countermeasures in place, we're gonna be okay.
Excellent.
So I'll definitely be back before the AGM.
Good.
So that's it, thanks.
Well, thank you, sir, appreciate that. Okay, moving on to continuing business, committee business, which you've already taken care of, Rob's request. Was there any other committees that wanted to add anyone? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to discussion of the proposed 2027 operational and capital budgets. It's addendum number 1, which was handed out. Was it
No.
handed out?
No, there's no
You guys
handout.
your binders last time.
Oh, yeah, okay. Great, got that. Joanne?
This space is just for questions or comments or discussion around budget items. I noted that several topics were suggested in email, and this is your opportunity to discuss those here.
I obviously made my, hold up on the budget. It was obviously a bigger events budget. It sounds like the rest of the board kind of supports that and what the community's been asking for. And I know we could pull it out of the UDR budget, but I think just having it there and,
For events?
Yeah.
The events.
Yeah, events, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
I participated in that discussion. I totally support it. I think that we need to. I always do that in the wrong order. Wait.
Yeah, Vince? Oh, thank you. Mr. Waterman, please.
Thank you. What was it, Mr. McKean?
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
President.
Mr. President. I was involved in that conversation. I totally support us increasing our budget to come up with, for events. And let's also maybe spend some time on what type of event should we have? Because as Joanne pointed out, we had all these other out-house things and they didn't work, and a lot of work into a beer garden that had not a lot of tokens in it. And there's other things that we could be doing. And I believe that we need to work harder on bringing the community out and not making it a nickel dime operation for them. I think we should put some community money into bringing the community together.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do like
Any
to
other
be fed.
comments on that? Yeah, so actually about the budget, so one of the things about that is, we discussed that briefly, was, yeah, like you mentioned UDR, there's available money and those types of things, and also I think Joel mentioned trees, maybe someone else, I thought it might have been Joel, could pull money out of the tree fund or something like that, and we could really do that at any time.
Right.
It doesn't mean we need, and I don't want to misspeak here for either of you two. But we could do that at any time as a board if we decide, and we do agree it's a good idea to try to get together a group that could run an idea for events and maybe bring some possible ideas to the board to discuss, along with what those might entail, you know. A lot of these things require admin time and things like that, that's the problem with doing them. But if they're planned right and we get rid of some of the ones that aren't as interesting to people and put some more things that are interesting, I think that's all a good idea myself. I think it's a great idea. We'll go with Linda, and then Lori.
Rather than taking money out of trees and putting it more to event.
We just shake the tree, Linda.
Oh, why? I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
That was a joke from the president, that was good.
Mr. President.
Yeah, Mr. President.
That if you want to take money from trees, take a little bit out of trees and put it into events.
So you just.
You know,
take
what
that
I'm
off
saying
the
is
back.
that you're really not, all you're doing is giving a little bit more money to events and taking a little bit of money away from trees. But you're not really changing the budget, you're just changing the allocations in those two
Correct,
accounts.
yeah, it's just reallocating. Lori?
Community-led, community-fed. If the community has groups that they want to put an event together, have the community really get involved in it. So they're involved in, the event as a whole. And then the staff, the only thing that admin would have to do would be maybe order food. It could be something as easy as pizza, it could be like tacos from El Cave or something.
Are you hungry?
No, I haven't actually tried that.
I was thinking of different types of
But,
events,
so that the
foodie, but
community could do events that they think that they want to do and not, it could be varied.
yeah. So like by the Sudden Valley, bring that back, I thought that was.
Yeah,
all-
it just take the stress and the planning off of the admin staff so it doesn't add to their plate.
Yeah.
Haha, and then they add to the plate.
It's like a volunteer group, yeah, that's kind of what
Yeah,
we're
we're kind of talking
yeah.
about that you let the community.
Because food brings everybody out.
Yeah, they like to be fed.
And and it doesn't have to be huge, it could be cost of hot dogs.
I still think you need some sort of leadership. Yes, have the community,
Yes.
but you still need some
Absolutely.
sort of leadership involved, or else it'll just, either nothing will happen or it'll be chaos.
Yeah.
No, I agree,
have to
need to
have
be
a
led
point
by
person.
yeah.
We thought about a community, like a group, not a committee, because that gets into that whole committee thing again, but a community group. We can call it a task force, we can call it whatever you wanna call it, but yeah, like how, putting those ideas together and getting ideas from the
Have a
community.
CPO, Chief Party Officer.
The party crowd.
Well, since our budget, we're discussing this now, coming up, we're having the presentation Saturday for community feedback. What is the recommendation that we wanted to see the event fund increase to?
I think, what is it right now, is it 8? I think closer to 15 to 20, I think would make sense.
I was thinking 20.
I was thinking 22. I think one of the big ones I was thinking is like a big 4th of July celebration, and fireworks and whatnot on the spit out there or something like that.
Oh, we can't use that word.
Well, not for
Because they've
us,
done
but
that.
we've had companies come.
Yeah, we could have somebody come out and do
If we
it.
could
No,
get
not
someone-
us.
There's a burn ban.
You could do it out on the water.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, that's what,
No, well, there's a burn
That'll
ban
go over
Yeah,
well.
large.
but not the county, won't have a burn ban.
I did look into the cost of doing drone shows.
Like, Let's,
Yeah.
comment from Joanne?
So the operational budget is a zero-sum game. If you want to increase one category, you need to decrease another category, as has been mentioned. I would argue against reducing the hazardous trees category. The most productive months for tree removals are, of course, in the fall. And historically, we do spend about $250,000, which is an astonishing sum. Which is why I said it that way, because $250,000 sounds less. But it's $250,000 on average every year. Now, I want to, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Our hazardous tree budget is completely focused on removing trees that are imminent or immediate hazards. We do know proactive removal of moderate risk trees. And we also, to save money over the last several years, have left trunks of trees on the ground in many areas. As those of you know who have attended Firewise, that adds fuel to our green spaces. And so I would suggest that we do not reduce the tree budget. Instead, we potentially should augment the tree budget so that if we do approach the end of the year with a surplus of funds, that we then shift those funds to the proactive removal of fuels from our green spaces. There's a lot to be said for actually managing our forest lands instead of reacting when a hazardous tree is identified. So I have absolutely no objection to a good party. I think events that bring the community together are excellent. I fully support them, but I would suggest that you look to a different area for funding for those events than the hazardous tree budget.
Okay, yeah, and that brings up a good point. We were changing that category from hazardous trees, I believe, to forest management or something along those lines. It gave us a little more leeway with what those funds get used for, like removing fuels and things like that, so. Okay, Lori?
So it's, right now the budget's 8,000,
Yes,
so we're looking at increasing it 12,000?
to 20.
To 20,000.
An increase of
8,000 of 12, yeah, at 12,000.
Yeah.
So that's like 32 cents a month,
Right.
a lot.
Yeah.
What if we took our collection rate at 95.1%?
That's what our collection rate is currently, 95.
No, she means for the
No,
budget.
95 even.
So instead of saying collection rate is 95%, she says make it 95.1%.
Because historically, it's always over.
Oh,
So, try to,
gotcha.
Here's a little consolation, like, in admin, we have this line item, the same department, GL 9211 SVCA committee support, it's 3,500. I don't believe we added this last year. And I don't
The
believe
35's not, you can't take
we
it all
spent like
away.
a dime of this so far. I mean, like, we could take that, could just get rid of this line, put that 3,500 into that $8,000 event line item, but at least kick it up that much. And you know, I guess if it came down to it, and you didn't want to take money out of UDR, if we were running a surplus, it would be the end of the world if that line item went a little over budget anyways.
The money's fungible, it's operational money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not really like over in a lot of these
Right.
categories that
Yeah.
we can, like, we can't really. We're pretty, we have a pretty lean budget right now.
And next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, you could easily just say, okay, raise everybody's dues 32 cents a month, and probably nobody would notice, but we don't wanna do that. So how do we? I'll have to look.
Well, we don't need to do it right
We don't need to
Right,
do
but we need to do
yeah.
it within a week.
Yeah, we should, we can always, like I said, we can always move money if worst case scenario.
If we
If
have
needed to when it happens, we need to get a, this is next year, we're talking about events, this year we have the craft fair and that's, I think, the holiday market, or whatever you would call it. So next year we have our normal events, which is, we have the money in for that, it's any additional events we might have.
Tammy, are we still doing the tea?
Yep,
So we're still doing our tea.
thanks, I have to remember to
Coming up.
put that out to the community.
It's not a lot of money though.
Yes, sir, Mr. Waterman.
I think the Taste of the Valley event,
Yes, Taste of Sun Valley, yeah.
I thought that
Or
was.
Bite of Sun Valley, whatever.
Whatever we called it, we couldn't keep kids off that rock climbing wall that we brought in. I mean, we had lots of activities going on that it brought out, and volunteers operated the hot dog and hamburger cooking station. So we provided, I think it was like 700 meals, 700 hot dogs or hamburgers total to members. We ran out. We had enough, and they came in, and we did it in the tennis court, and then with the rock wall, the music, the vendors. It was a big event.
Did we have the flea market at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah, we did. That was, I think we spent like close to 25,000 that year.
Oh, we did.
Could have been.
You have to look back, I think it's 2023, Lori.
Why don't we at least move the 3,500? So if you're not using it now, move that, so at least bump it up a little bit, and then once events are presented as a possibility, we can come to the board and say, I need an extra $5,000 because we have this event.
So you can take the 3,500 out and bump us
Well,
up to
no, we said there was the
11,500.
$3,500 out of it.
So we're better than halfway there.
If we
Yeah,
did that,
yeah.
once we have an event.
No, we have a
Because right
target.
now, we don't have one.
We have a target. And as Tommy said, look, when someone presents something, we can present it, and the board can say, where do we have money that's under running that we can move money over?
Is that
You know,
something
the
the
thing
board
that's-
needs to do, or is that something you can just do? The board need to make a motion to move the.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, if we're taking
Well,
all this,
You just do it.
No, we'll just amend the budget.
Yeah, so it's just gonna move
I
the
mean,
money
it's
over.
probably all gonna be.
Okay,
Awesome. Are there other comments that we need to address in the budget?
I have a comment on the slides, if I could comment on it.
yes.
I'm just gonna ask for a request if we can do that. So slide 9, it talks about the projection shows a capital budget was prepared with no increases in dues after 2027. And I get that. I think this is gonna be a repeat of when we actually show the capital budget and we talk about it. And so I think it's just a redundant slide of something that's gonna come up later. And I'm wondering if that slide could just be taken out. Number 9.
I'm just suggesting we really make sure the community understands. This is not a done deal. It's going to have to go up.
Yes, exactly, and if you were presenting it this way twice, I think people are gonna think it's not going up. So what I'm saying is taking this slide out, we will show the capital budget as it's presented, which is with no increase, but I think there's gonna be a conversation about realistically, there's gonna have to be an increase.
I mean, I guess the one thing about this table is it does make it clear that the 10-year capital budget was indeed, put together based on this $177.24 all the way out to 2036.
And yes, and
Versus like if they just looked at the 10-year capital budget, they would just see the total dues.
you'll see on top, you see what it is, if you see it doesn't increase as you go along on the capital.
But only in total.
Yeah, but only total, and this slide kind of comes like with all the general information of the dues increases before it really gets into the nitty gritty.
But in expected, that's the roads, no, that's right, what is that? Yeah, it doesn't increase if you look at it, even
Oh, yeah,
on the
that's right. That was
on the capital
on
budget.
May I chime
On the
in with a
spreadsheet.
comment on this?
Mitch?
But our buying power dramatically increases after 2031 because our loan is paid off. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think like
All right.
2029.
Is it 29? I thought it was 39.
2029,
Current one is like 29.
after 2029.
So I think telling them what you're suggesting, but also letting them know our buying power dramatically changes because that loan is paid off.
It'll
Now,
slow.
of course, the loan being paid off is taken into account automatically in the years after 2029, since those payments aren't dragging down on cash. So meaning it helps out the residual at the end of the year.
But it enables us to get more capital work done because our cash
That's right.
position in
Yeah.
capital
Yeah.
has dramatically increased.
Right.
So as we're explaining to them, we're showing no increase in capital dues, yet after 29, we have more cash available. Now, this is an issue that's gonna have to get addressed in out years, but here's the total picture.
I mean, we're gonna show them in 2020, what happens in 2029, then we can show them how it goes up. But my concern again is that expected dues collection on a CERF plan, it shows that $1,508,000 for the rest of eternity until 2036.
Right.
So it's a duplicate of what we're saying. That's why I'm saying we don't need 9, because we're just gonna be talking about it twice. Or we can talk about it twice, but it's basically talking about the same thing twice.
I mean, technically, you're right, you just talked about it twice, it's just, if anything, just breaks it down on a monthly basis, in terms of like, just equating it right to a monthly dues amount. Versus like in the 10-year capital plan, it's, the full year's worth of dues collections on that first line.
I just think it's redundancy, but okay, I mean, that's fine, it's like, you can keep it in.
Linda?
With this whole business we're talking about, we're sunsetting the one loan. We also have included in the reserve study the amounts of money for the $3 million loan that begin in 2027 and then bump up from like 101,000 to 331,000 in 2028, another 331,000 in 2029, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That nobody's talking about, that's being calculated in there.
Yeah. So the capital budget is showing you that we have to take out a $3 million loan to accomplish, especially the pavilion Barn 6.
There's two choices coming up here. You're gonna take out another loan, or we're gonna do a special assessment. Or you're gonna raise dues, but
I know, but I'm saying, when we were talking about that we're sunsetting that and it's gonna increase our buying power, no, it's not really, because we're gonna have another $300,000 for the loan that we can't, but I'm I'm just saying, that number is in there and is calculated into this, and I'm trying to,
Okay.
make that point that Jean's making, that there's money in there. It's nice when we sunset this stuff, and if we weren't taking out a loan, that'd be great. There'd be extra money to do projects, but that's not the case. It's like,
Yeah.
Yes, Joanne?
I think one of the big challenges of the capital budget is that no single item can be viewed separate. It's a very synergistic budget. So not only do you have all these rows of different projects, but you've got it out for 10 years, right? And yes, one loan is dwindling in its payments beginning in 2028, and then accelerating in 2029, and in 2030, that's the last year we have to make payments on the current CERF loan, so that's good. But as Linda just said, the new loan payments have come along. And unfortunately, the two loans are both being paid back during the period when we're also supposed to be replacing the marina docks.
Yeah.
Which is why in this budget clearly shows that at the end of 2029, our reserves for CERF are down to $625,776, which sounds like a lot to me as an individual, but is not very large from the association's perspective. And it's because all those expenses are hitting at the same time. Now, you can argue that Barn 6 has been essentially closed since 2013, when the decision was made that the cost of repairing the rotted posts holding it up exceeded its value. And this, currently, this board has moved the association forward on a project that is, in many respects, long overdue. So it's good to be doing that, and fortunately, our reserves are not high enough to accommodate paying for it without that loan.
Right.
And the budget evolves every single year. So next year, we plan to have the docks reassessed to make sure that the timing at which they are replaced is appropriate.
Yeah.
We may find that those docks move further out, and that gives us some relief overall in that year. but, one single item can't be viewed, alone. You really have to look at the whole thing, which, given that it's spread across 5 11 by 17 pages, is quite an undertaking.
Any other comments?
So, yes,
So you do, great.
I guess, we had funds allowed for barn 8, but we de-obligated them, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's why it's all there, and then we were gonna move to that money to do barn 6.
I'm putting it back in CERT.
That's what we're gonna do with barn 8 until we have barn 6 up and running.
Yeah, but now we're talking about getting a loan to do 6.
Because it's more than what we moved over. Even the 600,000 we moved over isn't enough to deal with everything we need
That's all we
to
have
for
left
the
from-
basic, yes, from the barn 8 stuff.
However, the good thing is this loan is $1 million less than the $4 million loan you saw in last year's capital plan during the 2026 budget discussion.
Can I ask a question out of turn here?
Go ahead, Linda.
So we're all talking about this loan, it's in the reserves. Do we have any idea when we're gonna get the financial numbers on, I know we're gonna discuss this more tonight, and maybe I should save it until we get ready to look at the drawings, but I've seen no financials, which for me is the bottom line. I can look at drawings of a building and go peachy keen, but it doesn't tell me how's it gonna impact us, our budget, what we do, what we have to apply a loan for, et cetera, et cetera. The only blessing I see out of this whole thing with barn 6 is even if we have to take out a loan, there's not a special assessment needed. It will just be paid for out of the money that's currently being put into the CERT account. That's my silver lining.
That's very good.
And of course, this budget does show CERT is going up 6%.
Yeah.
For 27.
For 2027.
Any other comments, questions on that? All right, hearing none, we're gonna move on to discussion. Design details for proposed barn 6 / sport pavilion, multi-use pavilion, and so forth. Do we need to take a break real quick, guys?
I could use a stand.
All right, we'll take a quick break.
Okay.
You pause this for, 3-4 minutes, whatever we need.
Let's say 5 minutes.
Too late.
Cory, thank you for sharing that with me. I really wanted to look at it. I didn't know we were gonna need all that. Thank you very much.
Have a treat.
I did, I've been eating this much dinner. How are you surviving over here? Good. We let you talk.
Well,
Twice?
try and stop me.
Oh, that's all right.
No, just observing.
Where are you off to, Rob?
What's that?
What cities are you off to?
New York and London.
Wow,
We're going to,
that's awesome.
we're going to United's final to, all the chapters in the United States are getting together for, seminars, and I'll be leading the workout meetings and all that. Mentor mentees, hearing people say,
Comments.
you know, because sometimes we're like, what do you do if someone says, I'm tired of being in this chair, I just need to get the world
Be smart, be a choice, I mean, that's what I did.
So I'll be talking a little bit about that, and
Just stated facts.
then we held over to London,
I mean, I read
because
it, yeah.
there's gonna be an international
And in fact, your next.
founder, executive director is going to be presenting about the airline project.
She tried to do
Also, he'll be talking about airline air transportation. So,
But I read it, and I
he's
was saying, you
had
know,
two of his chairs absolutely destroyed by
I read it
airlines.
to my wife too.
Yeah, he's
And she goes,
part of the national transportation, national air transportation advisory
more than anything else.
He's a really amazing guy now. Russ as well.
Good. Get that ETA.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
So I've been so busy this week because we're finalizing all of our itineraries, our travel.
I didn't.
I'll be.
Do you have the app?
It is
Yeah, yeah,
So
so,
many scam sites.
yeah, it's already been done.
I put a mark
Got
in it.
Went through the application.
Oh, yeah, that's what you have to go through, it's like $20 US.
Was it? Yeah.
We're so lucky, we've gotten to the point now.
Unfortunately.
We've had enough, we've had
I think what
a lot
I'd like to see the board
of.
start doing is take questions and then
We've
start
hired two
firing
staff
and then we
people.
get this time to get facts.
You know, I'll see it for a while.
So they helped us with lots of travel. The last of my 77s are at the lake.
It's hard to do it on the cuff, you don't have to. You have to make it. And then someone, and then we can say or something, you know, like you don't want to do, you know. Treat them and mess them out, so next week, you're wrong, I'm sorry. Well, you're the. You should know these.
I have no idea.
Trying to get rid of some more of these.
The other day.
So
I'm gonna have
I was gonna say, I just kicked that.
Planning meeting, and I'm just like, when they come with a GoPro,
Yeah.
checking.
With this one.
I had that done, we had like January, so I would have.
Here, maybe we'll get some of these.
Oh, yeah, we did it up at,
Because I think the nurse goes.
I usually ask you ahead of time.
Yeah, right, it's right in the, kind of right in the there's a field right before you make the lot, like right on that road, with that field is, yeah. Yeah, we have a good photographer, who does it that way, that does She has a lot of really cool scenes. She did one at the lavender field, that's pretty cool. I think we're doing one at Mount Baker this year, so it'll be different. There's a couple cool spots.
Yeah, because there's far less going on when you're.
I feel like you're trespassing.
I'll be the finance director.
I'll be the security guard. We're out of nowhere.
Hey Joanne, can we get some 15-mile-an-hour speed limit signs out here on this path?
I think we need to actually.
You know what, we need spike strips.
Speed bumps. Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Based on my recent experience, we can just put brown over them.
I think some of those are run flats though.
Gosh, okay.
What?
I think some of those tires are run flats, they don't.
Yeah.
So I just actually made a note tonight about that, e-bikers and scooters, there's been actually a lot of comments about that.
Yeah.
I keep trying to get it on the agenda.
That should be.
Okay,
Just
go.
wanted to clarify that one.
That's a good one, that's a good one.
Thank you, welcome back, or call the meeting back to order at 8:43 PM. All right, so our next topic tonight was discussion of design details for proposed barn 6, the sports pavilion or / multi-use pavilion, whatever we're gonna end up naming it. So the question came up by the architect was about having the full-on kitchen in here versus the break room. I put that question out to the board members individually and got responses back, and it was very mixed, so I felt it was appropriate to bring it to the board meeting and open discussion so we can discuss it a little further and then take a vote on that, whether we want to do it. So we'll have a little discussion about that and about anything else in there. You see we have the basketball court, the pickleball court. We have a couple of a storage room, it's called a storage room. Obviously that's gonna have to serve as probably a meeting room and things like that as we're working on barn 8 because we won't have this facility. We're gonna need to have some use over there. The break area is a good size now. It's actually very large. It could accommodate some tables in there, some round tables or whatever kind of seating you would want in there. It does not have a stove, it does not have an oven to make it a full-on kitchen. That will trigger fire, right? Fire codes, and so we need to put type 1 hood and things like that in there, so it's gonna increase the cost. The estimate that he gave me, I think I sent it on an email, was I think 35 to 40,000, I think is what I put out, I can't remember off the top of my head. But I would always like to stay on the higher side of that because we don't know what we're gonna encounter. So I've heard some great arguments, Ray in particular, I'm gonna have him speak tonight. He sent out a nice thing that it sounded all great and it sounds good, and we're gonna hear that. I just also wanna remind the board that when this thing went through long range planning committee, was brought out in the town hall, a lot of people complained about having duplicate building here, and now because barn 8 is still gonna be the community center, this barn. We house our pool equipment here, we have our rec center, we have, there's a lot of uses in these rooms, yoga classes, and I don't know, John can tell you what all is here. The sunshine room, things like that. So keep that in mind as we're talking about what we wanna do with this pavilion here. And at the community, originally, they wanted something, lean and mean, on the cheaper side. And somehow we came back, with that big 2-story thing, we saw how that went, it wasn't a good call, so we regrouped, we came back, and now we got this kind of, to me, it's somewhat stripped out, but it does serve a lot of purposes. It's more of an open air. You'll see there's 4 roll-up doors, actually 6 roll-up doors, I'm looking at it now. We have 6 roll-up doors, I put 2 on the parking side, I forgot. That's on the parking side over there, you'll see those 2 roll-up doors there. We relocated the entry, so it's more in line with this building now, with the rec center now, with the entry doors here, so you could go out of one and right into this one, so it's more of a flowing thing. The old plan, it had one on the parking lot side, I believe, or down on this side where the storage room is at. And I apologize, I don't have the old floor plan here. But anyway, so let's have conversation about this, and I'd like to go around the table and get this finished, because I need to get back to the architect with it, so we can get finished and make Linda happy, and then get our numbers for this thing, once we know what we're doing. And then Rob raises his hand first, and then we'll go with Jaime, and then we can just go around however we wanna do this. So Rob?
Just a question, the doors to come into the building, are they gonna be powered so that they'll better for accessibility for those in
No,
chairs?
it'll be up to code, so we have to, so that's one of the things, I'm sure we have to. I don't know, I haven't built in Washington State, California, we would have to, there's no doubt about that. I assume it would be the same thing here, as they are requiring ADA parking and things like that, so I assume they'll be able to push a button and the doors will open.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, but I don't know 100% on that, but that's something we can certainly look to if it's not a requirement.
We can put a Rob Gibbs filter on it, so.
Okay, and then Jaime was next.
Okay, I had 2 questions about the kitchen, just so before we start talking, so we kind of know what we're dealing with. First of all, a full kitchen, can you give us like a general estimate, what do you think it's gonna cost? I know we don't have hard numbers, but what approximately? And then something we had discussed, and Jean had a really good idea in one of our discussions the other day. What's the difference if we only had a stove, if it didn't have a cooktop because of the lack of venting, would that save us a bunch of money.
So have an oven.
Yeah,
and a
so,
stovetop.
yeah, one of the questions came up, actually, we did discuss this, so it's about 35 to 40K, if I remember correctly, what he told me the cost could be. So Gene had a good idea that instead of maybe having instead of a stove top, because we have a big long counter there, you could put hot plates and things like that out there for cooking different things, and not necessarily have a stove top which requires a hood. So that's one way around that, and I mean, that's something we could certainly talk about. So even a double oven or something like that is certainly probably doable, and then you now, I would say that in a home, you don't need a hood. I do not know about a commercial kitchen, because this would be considered a commercial kitchen because it is the community center, or, you know, a
I bet
place
you
for a
it's
community.
going to look at Abu
Bet on it.
Yeah, most likely, I would think that would probably be what they'd say, because they always err on the side of caution, especially in a facility like that. But go ahead and
Well, El Capitan has stovetops. We're talking about removing the stovetop and just having like a double oven. So that you could, I cook steaks in a double oven, I cook chicken in a double oven. Double oven an oven can serve as a cooktop. So I don't know if you need a hood, then it's a commercial hood if you have it, and how much cheaper, if it is cheaper, to do that instead of having that.
I'm thinking an oven that's gonna cook anything with grease is gonna have to have it.
or a vent.
So
Straight
maybe,
out, like straight out.
maybe because I have an oven off to the side of my wall, and my cooktop is over here with my hood. I don't have a hood on my oven. But it might be different depending on, I don't, what this thing.
Other community spaces typically don't have a commercial kitchen because they're not set up to prepare food, they're set up to reheat and serve. And that's a big distinction, and that's the additional money if you're looking to prepare food there. And I don't even know who would manage it, like you need to manage it in order to keep it viable, do all the inspections, all of that.
yes, it would require, yes, and that's the other thing we have to consider is maintenance, right? That's one thing we should always look at when we do a facility like this, is the ongoing maintenance. That's an excellent point, because you will require annual inspections.
Well, yeah, many more than that, actually. So, the other pavilions that I've looked at locally, they do offer the ability to reheat and serve, but not to prepare. That's an important distinction.
So why don't we go around, do we wanna go around the room, is that many, or just have Ray, or, yeah, let's go with Ray. And
I'll start
Yeah, go ahead,
because
Ray.
I'm gonna be an advocate for a real kitchen with a hood that you can actually cook on. My background, I grew up in a neighborhood and we had community dinners every month. It was a spaghetti deal or tacos, but it was in a kitchen that was next to a gymnasium. Just kind of like we got. It was a kitchen, a gymnasium. Everything happened here. People signed up for Little League, all the clubs signed up, the soccer teams, that was the event. Everybody showed up. It brought community. I was fortunate. I was in that environment. So, hey, that's a long time ago. Hey, tomorrow or Saturday, I'm going to my 50th high school reunion. Big deal. That's how old I am.
You'll be the only one there.
I don't know about that. 550 in my class. But, I presently kind of got on to this board by Tiny here to help Sudden Valley become a community, because I saw lots of terrible things all over the place and it's just isolated. Don't need to list all the items, most people know all the items. But I presently am I volunteer for a CTK farm that grows vegetables for all the food banks in Whatcom County, like 9 of them. There's over 550 volunteers at different times. But on Mondays, once a month, or every Monday, everybody shows up. There's gonna be like 50 people, 25 people that show up. But once a month, they do a meal. You know what the attendance happens? It goes from 50 to 150. Why is that? Food is a magnet. It draws people together. People, they work, they sit down at a picnic table, they share, it draws stuff together. This community is crying for community. Like I said before, we're gonna have a ice cream social tomorrow. We had a ice cream social last year outside in the pouring down rain, and 150 people showed up. But, you know, if we had an opportunity with our pavilion to have a kitchen and have a pancake breakfast, have a spaghetti feed once a month, chili feed, cake feed, all the different groups that can come in and do stuff, all for our community, it will bond and get community together. We are hurting for space, meeting areas, and we're hurting for opportunities to get together. Yes, will it take management to run that kitchen, a commercial kitchen? It happens all the time in churches, happens all the time in community centers. Culinary people live in Sudden Valley, have one time or another been on. You can get a card for like 10 minutes on the internet, you get a food card.
Yeah.
Actually, the chef that runs the Lighthouse Mission, he lives here. I mean, we could get lots of input on how to run a kitchen correctly and get volunteers and do it right. It doesn't have to be the staff that works here, it should be the community doing it and running it right. It can be done. I've been working in kitchens a long time. You can easily get community support. People get excited about a pancake breakfast. They get we only have one pancake breakfast a year with the fire department around here. We don't have no place to make pancakes because we don't have a grill.
I don't like pancakes, but a good waffle I'll go for.
That'll work. Another thing this is stuff, research I've done when I was on long range committee. I mean, research this out. I mean, the Bellingham Senior Center, downtown Bellingham, they just got a new one, but the existing one. If you have a kitchen and you have a seniors group, which we have 1,500 seniors in Sudden Valley, if you have a senior group and you have a kitchen, Meals on Wheels will come to your facility. If you have bathrooms that are up to code, and if you have a kitchen that's up to code, they will make a lunchtime meal as often as you want. You can do it once a month, you can do it once a week, you can do it every day, $5. The Meals on Wheels food is provided as part of a government program, but you know, our farm, we donate all the vegetables, it's all fresh, it's good stuff. And you talk to the 150 people that have lunch in Bellingham, guys, take a check down there. There's a good community with the seniors. Our seniors are unfortunately, a lot of them are getting older and they've got big houses and they're leaving because there's no place for them here. We're making some effort to get something going, but this is the golden opportunity for this board to step up, create community, bring food. It doesn't cost, the numbers you're talking about is small for investment in the community.
Yeah.
If it's 56, if it's 180,000, it would be worth it. Our communities fall apart. I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir.
I'm trying to make it better. This would be a big step forward.
Lori?
I agree with Ray 100%, but
Thank
I
you.
do have a question.
I can answer it.
So currently, we have a commercial kitchen in this barn upstairs.
No.
It's not a commercial kitchen.
No, that's not.
Okay, so,
No.
okay, so we have no commercial kitchen other than El Agave. Okay, so that was my first question. So we're gonna, I think we need one, but we don't need two. So it's like, we need one in here, or we need one in there. Question is, after both are done, okay, so let's say 2029, wishful thinking.
Both buildings again.
Or 2035 is what you're saying?
You're talking 10
When
years.
we're all dead and
10
gone.
years before.
Okay,
Alright,
so which building, after everything's done, which building would be the primary gathering place for the community? Because wherever that is, that's where we should probably focus the larger kitchen, the commercial kitchen on. That's just my thoughts. Now, if this one's gonna not be until 2039, then, but so I think that's my opinion, is that we need one for sure, but where should it be? Because I do think that having, gatherings where you could have chili cook-offs and of course that people would bring them, but, where you can have community and pancake feeds and stuff like that. The other question is, how far can you go before you get into the huge expenses? Like, can you do induction countertop plates? What can you do before you take it from 5,000 to 45,000?
Yeah, so we can do
I
hot
don't know.
plates and things like that.
You need a dishwasher.
Yeah, we can do that, we can do a dishwasher and stuff now.
But if it's not considered a commercial kitchen, we just do what we can without hitting that line. Does that prohibit us from serving food? Like if we could make pancakes on induction plates sitting on the counter, if that was allowed, could we buy 4 induction plates and make and serve food? Is that allowed? I don't know, I don't have my food handler's permit, I've never worked in the food service industry, so I don't know. I mean, and we don't wanna just do it until we get caught type of thing. We wanna do it right. So
You just need
how
the
far,
electrical.
so I need to know how far could we go? And if we do it to it in this building 6, is that going to be, are we also gonna have this conversation when it comes to the barn here? Or is it gonna be, we did it there, we're not even looking at it here?
Well, you bring up a good point, because this building was known like as a community center, right? And so this is where you think that, for me thinking, this is where the kitchen would be probably better utilized than if you didn't have duplicate kitchens. This building would have a generator, this building, because we have pool equipment, we have the rec center, we have a lot of uses in this building, use it for meetings and classes and so forth. So in some emergency or something like that, we would have an emergency generator here. This would probably be more inclined to be an emergency shelter situation, because the generator and the kitchen would be here and things like that. But that doesn't mean that building couldn't have that and then we take it out of this building.
Right, but that building is gonna be much more convenient
It's easily accessible.
because it's near the parking.
Yeah.
So if you had the commercial kitchen there and you had, let's say we had a emergency shelter here and we needed to prepare food, you could make it there and carry it over.
Sure.
I mean, it's not that we can't serve it here. Conversely, if you had the commercial kitchen here, I thought that was a commercial kitchen, I didn't see, but I know. You could make, if you did it here, you could always make it here and carry it over there. So where we have it doesn't really prohibit what we can do in each building as it comes to food, it's not that far. But I think that building is much more convenient for parking, because it's right there.
Yeah, have the big roll up doors and stuff like that as well, so it's much more accessible.
So maybe the focus of this building here is gonna totally change.
It's very possible.
It might be just a huge gym.
No,
We have 2 huge gyms.
We'll put the gym over there.
Well, there's a difference in a gymnasium.
Exercise place.
Let's go with Linda, you didn't get a chance, and then that way we can go right around and we'll go to Jean and then Tommy.
So my concern is, when I look at this lovely building, it's all these big spaces. I'm assuming at some point in time, this building is gonna be shut down and you're gonna need a building to have meetings in. Whenever, for instance, upstairs, those closets are full of tables and chairs. If we're gonna have an AGM in a place where we're gonna have an AGM because this building's closed, what are you gonna do, get out on the basketball courts? You have to be able to store all our equipment that we use, all of the, hopefully we take some planning for electrical outlets and stuff for this, but it's like none of this has storage in it other than this big corner that says storage. And it's like, if that's it, then what are you gonna all put in there? Are we gonna move that so that our meetings start to happen there? That building is scheduled to have AC, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's my concern, is there's these big areas here that are on the other side of the basketball courts. Are those gonna be meeting areas, or is that gonna be for just games of some sort? Pickleball or?
Yeah, it's a pickleball court and then a basketball court. It had 2 pickleball courts in there, we removed one because they seemed a little close. And it also gives us space to utilize if this building does get closed, because we don't know what we're doing here yet, we just know we have to do something. the gym equipment all needs to move.
Yeah.
That gives them an open area to put their gym equipment and so forth over there.
The other thing I wanted to point out, that Timmy will be able to talk about, after the bomb cyclone, the group came in here, how many guys were there? 12. Around 12 guys. We managed to feed them and house them in
They were in the sunshine room, they slept in the sunshine room, and we used the kitchen and crock pots.
Yep, and
We made
served,
chili, we
had
made soups, we
soups,
made.
all sorts of stuff, sandwiches, we had bread and stuff that they could put in toasters, fix for themselves, have breakfast, coffee all the time out of the coffee makers in there. Just did a bang-up job, but I'm saying we didn't use a full kitchen, but we were able to feed people that we had to feed and house, and I'm thinking about if there comes a time when we have to have people come here. That bomb cyclone, there were some people that went, there was no place for them, I had no idea where they went, where they had to evacuate their homes because of the propane tanks, and they had to walk out in the dark. We should have a place where we can go, hey, come see me right now, and be able to provide it rather than just let people fend for themselves.
I agree. I'd like to recorrect something I said. So you said AC, that the conditioned rooms would be the break area, the storage rooms, the restrooms and so forth. The whole building would not be AC.
Oh, yeah, I understand, just so that there's, AC, just so that there's something, that there is an area that's, it's like this building, this is nice, but upstairs is,
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine, that was my question.
All right, let's go to Jean, please.
Yeah, so I kind of echo that. I don't think we need two full kitchens. And from what I'm saying, it sounds like from the experience from the bomb cyclone, we were able to feed people pretty well. As it was. I think of this as more of a multi-use space, sports multi-use space. And when this gets redone, I don't know what it's gonna be, but I keep thinking some place we should have a place where we could have nice events, and it seems like that would be where the full kitchen would be, which would probably be this building. So anyway, I don't want to duplicate it, whether it's in this building or the other. I think, or this building or this new building. I almost think it's best to have it in this building, but I could go either way. I just don't want to duplicate the same kitchen twice. And as far as storage goes, Linda, I think you're getting just storage units. You have to, it's not the most convenient, but if you have tables and chairs and stuff, put them in storage units until you can move back into here.
Yeah, it just all depends, it's like we have an AGM every year where you set up the whole, 9 yards. When we have the town halls, like we're doing right now, you're setting out chairs for everybody. So it's something, like even that little room right there, that's fine, but it's a lockable area that you can store stuff in. And I think if you're gonna plan that maybe this building isn't gonna be available, then you may wanna be able to account for, well, where do the tables, besides the tables, chairs, the equipment all go, so that it can be secured. That's all I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I think that's.
It's one thing to have a storage room anybody can get in, and it's another thing to have someplace where all of this equipment can be stored.
Yeah, I think that can probably be figured out. Anyway, so my thing is I don't want two kitchens, and if we can have nice dinners and gatherings without having a full kitchen here, I guess that's what I would go with. Especially since, as Keith had said, the original vote was to have a real stripped down version. It was like, it's the open air court with nothing else. So I think we're still honoring that vote and making a more usable space than just a blank court. Fine.
Timing?
I agree that we don't need two kitchens, and I know that we do need a proper kitchen at some point, and also that food does bring people together. I don't know, I'm really torn. I can see why we want to have a full kitchen now, because it's going to be years before we can, have this building ready for one. But on the other hand, like Linda says, we could do like things like spaghetti and pancakes and chili and all those things that are big items for, feeding a big group. That we could do those. We all have crock pots and we can fill those. And So, and as far as, I was thinking that same thing as far as when, if this building's not available to store the chairs and that, get, like, we have those two connexes that we took out of RN6, and maybe we could use those, or just maybe even put like a nice little storage building that we might get permission to put in a corner and keep that for storage. So, I mean, I think that as far as that stuff, once this building comes down, I think we're gonna be okay. And then the other thing I had, these dormers, did we decide they're gonna be gone?
No, that's a good question I had to bring up. So the question came up whether we want dormers on there or skylights. Personally, the dormers to me at a considerable cost and maintenance issues. Skylights, I think allow natural lighting in there as well, and to me, it adds to, just my opinion, guys, just adds to the open feeling. Like, we talked about this being like a farmer's market, at some point, maybe Ray can help with that. Opened up for craft fair events and things like that, so I just thought having skylights instead of dormers, I was just looking for a way to get more lighting in there, but to also break up how it looked, because it, you know, we want to be cognizant of that as well, but I just thought the skylights would be far more cheaper and kind of serve the same purpose as far as lighting.
I think we have to watch our expenses.
Yeah, we're trying to keep the expenses down. But anyways, that was my thought on the dormers, and we can go back around and talk about dormers if we need to. Tommy, was that it?
That's all I got for now.
Okay, Tom?
Yeah, when I look at this building, I'm looking at an emergency shelter. I don't know if anybody's paying attention to what's going on in the Pacific Rim, but things are moving, and we are due for a major earthquake. And I don't think this building's gonna perform. This will probably come down. The roads will probably be closed from rocks falls, tree falls. There's a lot of big rocks in the valley. People's houses are gonna get taken out. We don't have to worry about tsunami from the ocean, but there will be one on Lake Whatcom. Don't know how far that might wash up, but we're gonna need a place for people to go. And that's what I care about. I was wondering about the floor. I know we have to dig down 3 feet, recompact, put a slab on top of that. I'm wondering if we dig down and put in some pier blocks and build a wooden floor on top rather than a concrete floor. I think that would probably perform better in a seismic event, but I don't know. I don't know the cost differences. But it's coming, we can't stop it. We just don't know when. But I think it'll happen before we can replace this building.
Well, I hope you're wrong on that. But, all right, so so the kitchen, you wanna talk about kitchen, storage, what's your thoughts then? From what I'm understanding,
Kitchen, I'm mixed on. I see both arguments. I think we could do it with hot plates and warming ovens, but I see the advantage of the full kitchen too, mainly because of the emergency nature of the building. Of course, we're not gonna be able to get food in here, so no good having a kitchen if we can't use it.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it for me.
All right, Sean?
Yeah, either way on the kitchen, I'm fine with having a full kitchen or not. I like the skylight idea, a little bit better than the dormers. I think it'll be bringing some nice light in. The big thing for me was just, making sure it's like wired with some acoustics in the building, because like obviously that could get super annoying, for having an event in there or something. But yeah, just having it wired for speakers, and then like, obviously, a TV or a projection screen or something would be.
The ability to set something up.
Yeah, for sure.
Because right now we're running all sorts of cords all over the
Yeah,
place.
we could just do, if we lock it in early, we could figure it out a little bit better.
If it was an emergency, or even for board meetings, like temporarily, we'd still have to we'd still have cords running around, because this, don't forget the sports, the idea totally was multiple use sports facility and things like that, right? Our only indoor basketball court, pickleball court, so I'm guessing it probably will get used through the winter as well. It'll probably be used all the time. So that'll be the main focus of this building, is for open air type situations and sporting events and, things like that. Not events, events, people trip on that.
put plugs in the floor in different spaces too.
Yeah.
That way you don't have running so long, and if you have an event where you have a booth, they need to plug in, and they'll plug in.
Yeah, but the sports court can't put plugs, people can be tripping.
No, they flush them out with coverage.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, a little like brass things you see. All right, Mr. Waterman, Sean, was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. President, thank you. I'm a proponent on the full kitchen and the emergency shelter. There is no place, we'll get trapped here. Our members are gonna get trapped here. We know that there's only one gate out, one way out of a couple of gates. Something happens, what are we gonna do? If we're a community, we're gonna take care of our own community. I think that the parking area next to the building and the access to the building, even after we rebuild this building, assuming that we do, that is a flush floor, can handle the largest crowd than anything that we're gonna put in here. And so I think the commercial kitchen in there and a eating area or break area in this building would be wiser. I'm also in favor of the emergency.
Not this building, that building?
That building.
Yeah, okay.
I'm also in favor of an emergency generator. Now, an emergency generator can serve both buildings, much like having a transfer switch between, oh, you want to power that building or you want to power this building. So one generator, but at least stubbing out power in that building for a generator. I believe that we're going to run into the crisis. It's going to hit us. And being able to support our community, I think, is in our best long-term interest as a board or for governance. So storage is going to be essential. You could put in the outbuildings, you can put in, look, for extra tables and chairs. We can do that, but we have to have storage.
We can add a storage room in this right corner.
Could we buy a couple 40-foot conex or something? Just get started.
We've got them.
Well, let's try to go away
Linda and I just helped empty them. We spent a
Spent
lot
a
of
lot of
time
our
emptying that stuff.
All right.
You're welcome.
Given that we're also in the Pacific Northwest and it gets rather dark out here for a good portion of the year, I do like windows up on the roof and LED lighting inside of the building so you get full spectrum daylight lighting. So it's not a depressing area inside the building. I do away with the dormers, I go with the ceiling windows or the skylights, and it's consistent with the open air venue. I like that. But yeah, I'm the full kitchen and be prepared for using that building in the long term for an emergency shelter.
Thank you. Daniel?
Yeah, I think I do like the idea of a full kitchen, but it does seem like it really complicates things very quickly. Could we do a phased-in approach where we have the bare bones of the kitchen and then see if we're actually gonna use it, add to it later, maybe have all the electric in there and plumbing that we need initially, and then just build into it, just an option. And I'm trying to imagine a scenario where this is used as an emergency shelter. Are we storing food here, or how does this work? I'm trying to figure out how this is an emergency shelter.
It's easier to
I've heard many people say this, but I'm trying to envision what that would actually look like.
Who give you that answer?
I can too.
Seriously?
Are you talking people are sleeping here, or they just come for a sandwich, or what?
Oh, this used to be an emergency shelter. Believe it or not, I emptied out,
The adult center.
that was one. We stored army cots in here. I emptied them out. I said, "You want to tell me what we're gonna do with 10 army cots?" It's easier to deliver food in one location than it is to deliver food in hundreds of locations. And so we proved with the flying that you can get supplies in here. So, and with the fires, you can get helicopters in here. So, yeah, I can see it.
Okay, I'm not arguing, I'm just trying to envision what that means. And then, do we have a plan for this building that we can look at to compare and decide what we need there, what we need here? Or is this just kind of gonna be an open space and we'll decide what we wanna do with it after that's done? Or is there an actual plan for this building?
Well, there's not an actual plan currently, right? We just know what needs to be done in this building. We do know that we need to continue with the uses we have here currently. And that would be, right, the first part of our plan is what to do with that. This building, the way it's designed for me personally, I don't like it. If we went straight up on the sides, we could almost double our square footage in here. And with the same footprint, right? So we can still do that without county issue. And we could utilize this place for a senior center, an actual senior, possibility of a senior center. I don't know if we like using that term, but a senior center with ADA accessible and stuff like that. There's a lot of possibilities, but that's something that the board would have to come back together again on and say, all right, we know we use it now, it's the gymnasiums in here. The locker rooms are, to me, way oversized. I don't use the gym here or the pool or anything actually for that matter. But I've been in the locker rooms, they're way oversized in my opinion for what they need to be. There's just a lot of wasted space in here that's just
But
because
the
it's
gym
so
would be on the
piecemeal.
The gym would be on the other side then?
No, the gym would only be over here
Same.
during when this is closed.
Okay.
Yeah, so we move all the gym equipment over there, so, because that is one of the things that people utilize a lot is the gym, especially around January, I hear. Right after the New Year's resolution, right?
And the pool mechanicals,
Yeah.
that can't move.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, the pool equipment, yeah, that stays here no matter what.
and changing areas, and
Yeah, you
shower,
need your
that
locker
sort of
room,
thing, you
you need
need
that kind of
some
stuff.
space.
Okay, so that would also include this.
But our showers here right now, like, they don't work, I mean, they work, but it takes, who told me that? Was it Ray? Do you use them? Or somebody uses them? They told me they use
Somebody
them.
told me it's cold. It's all-
Yeah, for like 10 minutes, dude. I turned it on and I was like, are you kidding me? And they're new water heaters. They're nice. They're like this.
Are they far away?
Yes,
A little bit.
so
That's the
in the
problem.
morning, if you're the first person to turn the water on, it does take a while, maybe 10 minutes
Yeah.
or more for it to heat up, but during the day, if the showers keep in use, then it's not.
It's readily available. It's more instant.
But yeah, since the pool is here and the pool mechanicals are here, and we need a changing room, a pretty impressive one in order to be a public pool, right?
Yeah,
It makes sense to keep the gym here so they
Yeah.
can use that facility. But all the rest of the activities of this building would be fungible. We have public gathering upstairs in the dance barn, and we have meeting rooms here.
Exercise classes.
Exercise
a lot of
classes,
those.
you can think of all of that happening in the sports center or not, but that's what must stay, the pool mechanicals, the changing facility and the gym, the fitness center, right, next to the locker room.
And we have the sunshine room. The revitalized, I don't know if you saw that, we
I saw
redid
the
that.
pictures,
oh,
yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
So where would the town halls, would that be in the new building then eventually, or?
Eventually, probably, yeah. In this one, come back here, it would have to be
And
there
then
for a
come back
while.
here?
yeah,
It would have to
only,
be there
yeah.
for a while.
Maybe.
Maybe.
One of the
Why don't you
considerations
take
would
meeting
be
spaces?
acoustics, because it's so hard to hear here, and I wouldn't want to have another sort of cavernous space that had terrible acoustics again.
That's why, so for me, this is again just me, is I have trouble because then we're getting a duplication of buildings. Because I would not want to make this a nice sound acoustical building when it's a sports facility.
Yeah,
Ideally, right? That's just my opinion on that. So I would focus on this as our temporary space when this place needs to be torn down or whatever we're doing, rebuilding it or trying to piece it back together or whatever we're gonna do with it. That this would be temporary use for our current uses here. This would become temporary.
And in terms of acoustics, we could, if something gets purposed here, you can always put sound baffles and could look at what sound, what kind of soundboard you want, what amplifiers. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, Linda, and then we'll go, Rob still?
Well, I asked a question, I just want to make a couple comments if I could.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you'd already made yours, I'm sorry.
No, I asked a question.
I passed you.
That's all right, I just asked a question. So the comments is that I have is I would, if I could vote, I would vote for a full commercial kitchen for the reasons that have been brought up. I think it brings people together. A number of us cook at our church for a monthly event. We probably get 75 people in there, and it really pulls people together. I think if we went to a potluck, we we probably get maybe 25, you know, because people wanna come and be fed in an organization like that.
First thing came to mind, crab feed.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wonderful.
I also agree with Mitch that in what could happen in terms of shelter in place here. I think that's another reason why we want to do that. I think the dormers are kind of cute, but I think the skylights would be better,
Yeah,
you know?
more practical, yeah.
We were trying to replicate that, I guess it was a ranch here at one time. And I like the idea of pulling, you know, when low voltage gets pulled, they can pull Cat5 cable so that we have better access to, you see Spencer on his head, we have better access to high-speed internet. Those are my comments.
All right, we're gonna go back to Linda. We're gonna try to do this a little quicker because it's getting late. so-
I know,
Go
so
ahead, Linda.
Mitch is gonna be able, is probably the only one, well, Timmy maybe. We used to be able to have functions, wedding receptions, that sort of stuff up in the barn. And the only reason we can't anymore is because we don't have fire suppression up there. So if you have a new building, if you're thinking about, could there be an event space here that could be an event space? And yes, you could have our AGMs here, but I'm saying we used to do decent, am I wrong, Mitch?
No, you're correct.
Decent
Shut it down
income
without fire.
for that upstairs, because that one little itty bitty room that's beside the bathroom up there, they used to serve alcohol on there because El Agave or whoever runs the restaurant has that. If somebody comes in and caters, they still have that ability. But the fire marshal said no, and that has been completely shut down any income we've had. So if you had a nice space up there, you could utilize it, and if you had more light in there rather than, that's not my favorite place up there, guys, sorry. It's like, I'm definitely in a barn, but I'm saying, that's something to give thought to. That part of the reason we don't fully utilize that up there anymore is we can't because there's not fire suppression. And how much is it to even put fire suppression in, Mitch?
It was $250,000 in 2017.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be tearing down.
it's thoughts for you all, because I know a lot of you don't remember that that's why that's been shut down all these years. Because how long has that been, Mitch?
We shut it down right after, Keith, you remember this, the big Oakland fire at the Oakland Marina, all the boats burned down. You remember that in California?
I do not.
Anyone, Tommy?
I remember it, but I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't the Oakland fire, it was the art building that caught fire. They had rented out all those spaces inside the building.
Oh, yeah.
All right after that, all the fire marshals up and down the west coast went right there through all the permits and yanked them because people died.
Yeah, a lot of people broke.
I think it was about 16 or 17.
All right, let's keep moving, Ray.
But these ones,
Yeah, I'll do this brief, but I just touched on kitchen last time, but I'm for the skylights, boom, that's a great idea. I'm also for, preparing this with the kitchen and the facility. It could definitely be an emergency shelter. We got restrooms and showers. And we did look at the numbers, you could hook everything up, to put just a pad. And if money loosens up again, we used to be able to get a free generator from the government if it was gonna be a facility. And we did talk to the architect about this, said wire everything, put a pad, and then once the application's open for, emergency facilities, you can get a generator.
A grant.
A grant,
Yeah.
and hook it up, and hey, you got power, and you've already got it wired for you. And there's a minimum cost to be prepared for that, and have a concrete pad. And then you've got a kitchen, you've got showers, and yeah, you can bust out some cots and people to sleep. I did emergency shelter in my high school when I was a kid. It's because they had a gymnasium, they had showers, and they had a kitchen. I don't know how we can take it any stronger. We need a kitchen in our community. 10 years from now, it would be great to have a small one up here. I don't think this is gonna be built for a long time. So meantime, we're choking our people, no place to get together. That's where I'm at.
I was gonna say, moving forward, I think we have three things, unless I'm missing something, that we need to kind of go around and get everybody's vote on. One is full kitchen, dormers, I think we all basically agree, but we'll double check that one, and roughing in for a generator. So maybe should we go around and decide on
Can I
those?
just make one point?
Yeah,
I just have one point on the comment is, we do have showers and bathrooms, but if it's an emergency shelter, there's like one shower for the guys, one shower for the women, and it's not a very big bathroom for an
It's not
emergency
really enough, but it's,
shelter. I mean, it's something, but it's not enough if you're gonna be housing lots of people.
it's gonna be group showers, sorry.
Tiny shower.
Or a ship in the lake.
We might not have hot water. Can't do that anymore.
This is the reduced version, because we did have 130 by 100, this is 100 by 100.
No, this is 100 by 130.
Yeah, it's
It is 100 by 30?
130.
Yeah. All right, any other questions or comments?
I did
One
have,
says
Oh,
I know I'm not on the board.
You're not on the board, but I appreciate you staying here this long, so go ahead.
Well, yeah, and I feel partially responsible that you're having this discussion to begin with, because I'm the one that raised the objection at last year's long-range planning committee when I questioned what the architect is up to. So, and looking at this, that this basketball court is center stage, and you've removed the pickleball court. If you swap the pickleball court for the basketball court, the bathroom could be enlarged.
Wait, you don't have the height. That's why it's in the center now.
Okay, well
Yeah.
then, the other point, I don't know the lady's name.
Jean?
Yeah. Jean, yeah, your point about the bathrooms is well taken, it's, in my opinion, might be code compliant, but it's woefully undersized, because, it's just really small. Perhaps you could make the entrance smaller, get rid of the 4-foot window and slide it over, make it a little bigger. And the handicap doors are facing the wrong way.
Well, no, they're not. No, they're-
Actually, I like the way they're facing, to be honest.
They have to face
They
that
swing
way.
out.
You need your strike clearance.
And you want them to swing out, too many times they'll swing in up against the toilet, there's no way you can transfer.
No, I didn't mean swing in.
Oh, I see what you're
Well, the orientation so that
Oh, I
you
got
can approach the bathroom, pull the door open, wheel in.
I got you,
They're just drawing it correctly, it's my.
yeah.
Yeah, so,
Thank you.
thank you, Jeff, I appreciate that. Okay, so, Tommy, the questions that I had down on here was the skylights, we do, let's go ahead and make a vote on it. So we wanna go skylights, no dormers, wires for speakers. We wanna talk about, I will talk to Quentin about the, well, we're already adding the conduits, add a storage room. Do we wanna add a storage room to the right-hand corner, lower right-hand corner?
The current storage room would take all of the things we store in the closets here 4 times. This is a huge room.
Yeah.
I don't think we need
I don't
additional
think
storage.
so.
I think we just need it, perhaps when this, if this building comes down and we have the extra stuff, we might need some external storage for a short time.
Yeah, but.
But I don't think we need, I don't think we need to change the
Well,
storage
this-
for this.
Okay.
So, and this could also be another, it doesn't have to be storage room, it could be this, like this other room, it's not necessarily a storage room, it has windows in it. Right, so the idea was, we're calling it storage because that makes it easier for county and everybody else to be storage, which is gonna be the ultimate thing, but right now, we may need this like for the classes here, our rec classes that we have, I don't know what we have, but that was the idea of another storage. We can always add a storage, we can always build in here later, that is a clear slate. We can always do a tenant improvement and add a storage room later if we find out we need it. That wouldn't be an issue. So then I have skylight.
Kate, just point of information, you said speaker or audio cable. I would also add Cat 5, so multimedia.
Well, it'll be the package, so yeah. it'll have-
Well, just making sure it gets captured.
Yeah, so we got wired, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
So skylight versus dormers, full kitchen or not, rough-in for generator,
yes,
and speakers in Cat 5.
yes.
We're up to 6 now.
Are we up to 6? I don't know. Oh, see, I'm combining a couple of them.
No, Cat 6.
Oh.
oh, is it Cat 6 now?
Up
Thank
to
you.
5.
Things.
Now, let's not forget the kitchen, right?
Six,
That
I
was-
had that one, right? That was the first thing I said.
That was the first thing you said?
Yeah.
All right, are we all done communicating on that, so we can take a vote then?
Yeah,
And just,
do it.
Tommy, you're gonna do it, and then go through one at a time.
Oh, okay, so, who would like to see a full kitchen in the, what do we call this court?
So really quick again, just to address that, so it's a good point that we don't have to put a kitchen in here if we have a kitchen over there. So just keep that in mind, if we were to make that the full kitchen, that would be where the money would be spent on that building. And then this building would not have a full kitchen, this building could have what this has now, a big break room.
Wouldn't that limit our ability to have events, to like rent?
Yeah, wedding receptions
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah, because you don't want to rent out a basketball court for your.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'm
That's true.
We're doing it for us though, not to rent it out for
We
weddings.
don't want
It's not a
them to
good
come and
idea.
have a wedding here and cook here.
Full kitchen, full bar. That's what I'm-
Problem solved.
Now we took care of it.
Alright, so
Good job.
let's be serious about that, so let's take that into consideration as we're voting for these things. Why don't we do the kitchen last, and do
Okay.
the other things first? You get
Okay, I'll do the
started.
easy one.
Okay.
Skylights.
Skylights,
Skylights.
Alright, that is.
Skylights it is.
Skylights over dormers, eliminate dormers.
okay, no dormers,
No, we want the
yes,
dormers,
skylights,
skylights.
okay.
Well, it's not cute anymore.
You're killing me.
Doesn't have to be cute to be
Rough in
functional.
for a generator, not a generator, rough in for a generator.
Right, yeah. You got it.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Adding in cabling for speakers in Cat 6.
That's it, yeah, no brainer.
Okay, so now. Full kitchen in that building or full kitchen in this building? So, well,
You gotta just say.
You gotta
Yeah, can you give one, give it the choice?
okay, well, I'm just letting you know, that's what the, okay, so who wants, who is in favor of a full kitchen in the sports building? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, you need to
Why
couldn't we just vote?
think of the community.
Yeah, we could.
Is it tight or something?
But if you put a break room in, you can always
Make more people.
make the
So
extension.
who was thinking full kitchen in this, wait, hold off and put it in this building?
Okay, wait, there's no guarantee, if we don't put it in there, there's no guarantee it's gonna go in here.
Right.
That's right.
That's the point, that's the
That is
point.
correct.
Can we, I know Keith, you need to get back to them and I respect that,
Kitchen.
but
How many people?
are we allowed to,
Yes, so if what you're gonna say, can we get the cost for the full kitchen, and then change our mind, we don't
yeah,
want a full
and
kitchen?
find out how far we can go without having to have the certification of a commercial.
In the overall scheme of things too, guys, I mean, what, the building's what, over $2 million?
Yeah, it is, it's less
We're
than our
talking- and we're-
contingency on the building.
And we're
Okay.
talking,
Considerable 40 grand.
we're talking 40 grand for, I mean, I
So
don't
we're talking 40 grand and the practicality of it,
Yeah.
so she just brought up a good point, do you want,
Here, it's guaranteed.
you're feeding food, having a pancake breakfast on a sports field,
Okay, I'm taking,
I
I'm
can't hear
taking
this,
my
I'm
vote.
sorry.
Guys,
Okay.
everybody,
Okay,
one at a
so-
time.
Yeah.
Could you call the question again,
Can
please?
I, okay, so I'm gonna change the question.
You're gonna change it.
All in favor of a full kitchen in the sports pavilion, assuming the costs are gonna be acceptable when we get the estimates back?
No,
let's do it.
Well,
let's do it.
okay, just,
Just like the garage.
okay,
They're doing it.
are we gonna put a full kitchen in the other building? All in favor?
There we go.
In the other building, in the new building?
Building 6.
6.
Building 6.
I've kinda changed my mind.
I didn't
because-
know.
Makes the whole-
Well, the whole
Building
thing
six.
about we might not get it in here,
Yeah.
that swayed
taking,
me.
look, you wanna count the votes?
So we got
Or we
1, 2,
say,
3,
that's it.
4, 5,
Alright,
6,
so that passes.
6 to 2.
They can still squash.
Okay, 6 to 4.
Well, this may not go through. Yeah,
Six
That's-
to 4, that's
6
it.
no, 6
Oh,
to
6 to
Yeah, you
3.
take the three.
6 to 3.
I didn't count, sorry. I thought Joanne voted.
Alright,
Certainly would not have voted for kitchen.
Thank you.
I'm not crushed though.
Well, I just thought about the fact that we may
I
not.
can go home now.
okay, well, is that it?
No, it's not it. You got the
No,
annual.
you have vendor fees and
No,
the,
that did on this.
and the enemy.
I gotta be
Our lovely
honest,
envelope,
I gotta be honest,
Envelope.
I'm fading. I just,
you may be excused. You
Okay,
may be excused. I thought you were trying to leave. I thought you were trying to leave.
okay, so, alright, are we done with that, Tommy? Now we
Yeah,
got,
that was it.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to item number 7, new business, request for approval, reduced vendor fees for the holiday market. You find that on page 16.
No,
Joanne?
Yeah, so SPCA's insurance provider did an on-site audit in 2025. That isn't a regular and usual thing. As a result of that audit, management was advised that vendors participating in any association-sponsored market events were required to have business insurance. When staff implemented that policy, many vendors could no longer afford to take part in the market events, making them less successful for everybody. The table below shows the 2025 fees and the proposed fees for 2026. So specifically for the holiday market, we offered indoor booths that were 8 foot by 6 foot. Those were the premium ones along the outer walls of the dance barn, and we charged $60. I'm saying we should charge 20. The indoor booth upstairs on the wooden floor was 6 by 6. We charged 50. I'm saying 15. And then the outdoor booth was 10 by 10. We charged 25, and I'm saying we should charge 10, or even maybe make them free. But that way, it might be more affordable for people who aren't really an official business, but do a craft and would like to sell the items to purchase a one-day or weekend policy, and then they would still be able to participate. So that's it. I request that the board of directors approve the proposed vendor fees for the 2026 holiday market.
All right, I'll read the motion and we'll go from there. I move that the SBCA Board of Directors approve the proposed vendor fees for the 2026 holiday market.
Second.
Who is that, Tiny?
That was me.
Thank you, Tiny. All right, questions or comments?
This is for the 26th market?
Yeah, so the one we have in November, the reason I'm asking is because we would.
You can go
It's 2025, 2026 one.
Okay, yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Will this be going forward? Or just for 26?
Well, I'm saying, let's implement these fees.
Okay, all right.
But right now, it's for the annual holiday market, so annual,
Why?
okay?
Do we need?
We have an annual every year. I would say that we've changed the motion to eliminate the 2026, and it's just the vendor fees for the holiday market are these. Because we have a holiday market every year,
Yeah,
so just take
These are our fees
2026
going
out.
forward.
I would amend the motion to remove the 2026 out of there, so that just going forward, these
For the
are our
holiday
fees.
market. Okay, so, anybody have questions or comments on this? Diamond?
I would look at, I like Joanne's idea of the outdoor one for $10. You know, I look at those people and it's cold and it's usually kind of miserable weather. For an outdoor table, I'd be okay with giving them a free table, because I don't think a lot of people are gonna wanna take us up on that. And then personally, I would just take them in half, indoor booth from 60 to 30, and the bigger one, and the smaller indoor booth from 50 to 25. So we're giving them half off.
So 50% discount. Does
That's
anybody
fine.
have any comments?
But leave it all, then leave it as just 2026 timing?
No, take the 2026 out.
Oh, I'm just checking.
I thought we already okay.
So when the price for the booth was $50 back in 2023 and 2024, we had a packed house. But now they have to purchase insurance.
Yeah.
And that could be as much as $50, but maybe it's a little bit more. So I think that the table needs to be like virtually nothing, or you've priced yourself out of the market. That's how I got to these numbers.
I agree with you.
So you think you're taking them down as agree, what would be?
Well, the idea is to get a little bit of money from the vendors to cover the cost of the event. For example, when we added outdoor booths, we rented 3 propane heaters to, reduce the Arctic atmosphere. And upstairs, we always, decorate, and there's a lot of staff time involved in moving the tables and everything else, and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, it's just a community event.
Yeah.
So it's not meant to make any money.
Yeah, you're not making money, you're not even gonna cover your expenses, it sounds like. But you believe the table is the best, it shouldn't be 50%. That was something I was looking at too, why not 50% discount? That seems like a great deal, but you think that would still be on the side?
I do, because like I said, that $50 was a market price, and now it's 60 plus 50.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Okay.
Okay,
I got a lot of complaints on
so I'll reread the motion. I move that the board, that the SBCA Board of Directors approve the proposed vendor fees for the holiday market.
Second,
So that's Linda, thank you, Linda. A re-motion. All in favor of the proposed fees? That's unanimous.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to 7B, is request for approval of the new voter packet, outer envelope design, 18.
Okay, so, we have two choices. Normally, we use a 6x9 envelope, and for the last 2 years, we use a window envelope, which tends to increase the likelihood that it be opened, because it looks not like junk mail. Anyway, this year, because we are sending out the giant revised bylaws document, we need to use a 9 by 12 envelope. And so we need a new design. These are both versions of the design we used on the 6x9 envelope, and they have the same features. They use full color printing, they list the items that are included in the mailing, and they have a big logo on it. We have two different things, we just need to vote.
which
I
one
like
do you
A.
like?
A is nice.
Yes.
A is,
That's,
yeah. B, I don't like the giant green thing,
It's too much.
but perhaps if everyone is, we can just do a show of hands.
That's funny, I like B. I like
That's why this is democracy, everybody votes their mind, okay?
All in favor of A? Who likes A?
Yeah, I think so.
The A's have it.
We're out of A's now.
Who
There we go.
likes B?
I'm a big guy.
Unanimous?
We should bring
Mitch, did
displays
you-
to all of our votes, that was very
Mitch,
effective.
did you vote A or B?
B.
I'm a B guy.
I'm a B guy too.
Okay, so
All right,
everybody-
so
Oh.
7 A's and 2 B's.
Because it was really clear, this is your election material, get it in.
we're back.
No, I don't like B.
Six A's.
I don't really care.
No,
The other one is just, it's too much.
Can't bounce it in.
Okay.
Voting electronic.
Six and ten or A.
I know.
Look, it's getting late, everyone's getting wild. All right, moving on to C, request for approval revised entity manual.
Right,
Better be quick.
thanks, yeah, right.
Yeah, we need to read.
Yes or no?
So,
Yeah,
yeah, we can make it real easy,
Oh, yeah.
just vote yes.
All right, so are you Linda doing this, or you? Oh, Rob.
So, everybody's got the memo that we sent to, or gave to you. Gives you a roll-up of the changes. Primarily, it deals with bringing the manual up into the requirements of Ukila and also aligning to the proposed bylaw changes. So the summary of what's been changed is there's new definitions and terminology, so we made sure that all the Ukila definitions are in the manual now. We refer to lot owner or unit owners. Also, it updated the nominating committee's responsibilities. The nominating committee, any mention of preparing a ballot with nominating committee members being voted was removed. All that is gone now. The election provisions, we also added electronic voting in there. The candidate for good standing appeals, that's a new requirement. So when we, right now, technically, we don't have any candidates. But when we open the envelopes and we look at the applications and determine if the member's in good standing, and we say, oh, that person's not in good standing, then they have 2 business days to appeal. And that has to keep, it goes to you. And so that appeal needs to happen very quickly. We put together an appeal process for that. There's actually a form that they can fill out. And that's now in the addendum, in the manual.
I don't think she attached it. I don't think she attached it.
Hope so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, addendum candidate appeal form, page 63.
Yep.
I see it,
Oh,
but
no, it's just
there,
for the
it's
blank.
empty, it's a blank
It's blank.
page.
I thought it was on the next page.
So basically, we spent probably 5 months doing this. We dove deep into this
Yeah, it's not-
annual. I wanna thank the NE committee, because it was really a lot of hard work. And people with different talents, it was really good.
And Carmen repaginated it, which is desperately in need.
Yeah. So we had wonderful support from Carmen. So that's kind of a late, almost 10 o'clock, lit through on what we did.
I have one question.
Yes.
Has our council already looked at it?
I don't know.
Yeah, Mitch?
We try to keep our legal fees down.
That's the plan.
Could it cancel the-
What I can tell you,
He recommended some of the changes that are in here.
Okay.
That we have to have a blank name for someone, how the NNE is appointed rather than elected, the form, the appeal form, that's all the attorney's requirements in the bylaw changes.
and Mitch, we were really lucky because on our committee, we had someone from the document review committee that was on it.
I can't imagine who we might be talking about.
And so much of what we learned, and got from council, we incorporated into the.
Thank you. I'm just a stooge in her committee, and she listed out all the stuff that was required for NNE.
And yeah, you've looked at it all.
And if it's incorporated.
It is
It
incorporated.
doesn't need to go to council.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, and since he's done the presentation, I would like to make a motion for the board to approve the revised 2026 NNE manual.
Second.
Who seconded that? Sean? Any other questions or comments regarding the revised NNE manual?
You have a question?
I do.
Okay.
And I only know this because Keith noticed it the other day. On page 25, AGMs with a board, and then you crossed out NNE and ACC are elected. Isn't ACC, am I reading?
ACC is elected, that's an error.
On page 25?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is ACC supposed to be in there, it should be crossed, or should it be crossed out the same way NNE is?
so we need to uncross that
I
out.
can't.
It's just the full DOD and ACC are elected at the AGM. Besides,
ACC are elected?
yes,
Okay, I thought they were, I thought under.
Well, they're gonna be elected and then they
And
be
then
appointed
appointed.
by the board.
They're elected and then they go appointed by.
Oh,
the board.
okay, so they still get, okay.
but NNE does not get elected, it gets appointed.
And
That's why we
according
took
to
it out.
this, and I didn't put it in our stuff, but in the bylaws, the attorney left in that we would be appointed for 2 years, not 1 year. I don't know, we haven't heard back from him yet, but I was surprised to see that in there.
That's interesting.
So what page did you say,
Oh,
Tyler?
but it ends up being correct, so.
Oh, all right,
Well, it's interesting because to me, and I just spoke to Joanne briefly about this today again, is that the ACC is elected, but at the same time, the board could not appoint one of the elected people. And that would just be bizarre to me.
That is weird.
Yeah, that's why I was.
So that's why I don't know if we
thinking
should
that too.
just, but then I hate taking out the interest of someone wanting to join the ACC.
but you have to leave, how do I say it? The attorney is the one that gave us the language for the bylaws of how this all works with the different committees.
Yeah, I know, it's bizarre.
You know, it's a dizzy go-around, let me tell you, it's a dizzy go-around.
Well, Kiowa reminds me of deciding how to throw the holy hand grenade. It is just.
And I'm not sure, just between you and I, Keith, it may be that when you get to appointing the members of ACC, that if you have someone who's elected, or let's say you have 2 people that are elected, I know there was a gal that was elected last year, I don't know if there's anybody recent or if we just have carryovers that haven't been able to leave because they were elected like a long time ago, like Joe Jean. The question is, you know, if there's some people that are recently elected, they should automatically be on there, But the board, if there's like 4 or 5 other people on there that are just appointed, the board should be able to approve those.
Yeah, that,
I
I
think
mean,
it-
it
yeah,
makes
it's-
more common sense, but that's not how it is. It's just bizarre. But that's fine, but it again.
And maybe we're gonna have to look at when Richard comes back with the final,
Well, perhaps you could approve it, dependent on a review by council.
okay.
Yeah, in particular, you need to look at that area, because
Correct.
that was kind of weird to me, how it didn't make sense.
Guys, one thing when you send it over to Richard, this just came to mind too. 2 of the open board seats for this AGM are replacing, people that have resigned. Those seats under the way we have always done, have we followed our bylaws,
Yes.
those are 2-year terms. So, mention Linda's seats would be 2-year terms.
One is a 2-year and one is a 1-year.
One's a 2-year and one's a what?
1 year.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's right, because we're,
Who's the 2-year?
Yeah.
2 years is,
Joe Adams,
Yeah.
and then Rick Asai was the one.
So Leah, okay,
Linda's seat is the 2.
she's the 1 year.
No, she's
the
a 1 year.
Doesn't matter, it's not gonna be her.
No, it can't be, because I took Joe's
It's
place.
late, yeah.
no, she.
I took Joe's place.
Oh, or Rick's place, I can't
Well,
remember.
here's my question,
Yeah.
here's my question for Richard. My question for Richard is, does the remaining years still, does that still
Yeah.
apply under Kyle?
Yeah, because normally they actually finish the term, right? If there was no other people, they finished the term of that person that they took the place of.
Yeah. It's very healthy to have some seats turn over and have remaining seats staying on for longevity.
All right, we need to verify that. Yeah, that's,
I'm ready now.
yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, thank you, that's,
Do you wanna
I'm glad you
reread
brought
the
that up.
motion, Linda, with the change?
With the revised motion, I would once again ask for a motion to the board to approve the revised 2026 N&E manual as approved by council.
Second.
Thank you, Ray. All in favor?
I
That is
Oh,
unanimous.
man.
Thanks, everybody.
It's been a
make
rough
a
year,
motion to
folks.
Second.
I move to adjourn
I'll second
at
that.
9:55.
All in favor?
Anybody else wanna stick around longer?
Adjourned at 9:55. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Jeff.
You rock, dude.